73 degrees reported in Florissant, 71 in St. Peter's, 73 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Sandberg Phoenix serves your business in litigation, intellectual property, and products liability. We're more than a law firm. We're committed to your success. Learn more at sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores, The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Good morning, y'all. Welcome into the show. What a day it is here in St. Louis. On a Tuesday, post-Memorial Day weekend, we hope you are getting right back at it just like we are. 314-436-7900 to join in. Call and text that number. Leave us voice messages on the Odyssey app. Listen to the show on the Odyssey app. Podcasts of all the shows on the station are available when the shows are over. And you can listen to the Cardinals game tonight because they continue their series with the Brewers. You may also watch us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We are at Chris Amy KMOX.
Time now for the top of the order. The top three stories everyone will be talking about.
You heard Megan talking about it. City residents are going to be able to weigh in on the Rams settlement money that is happening at 11 o'clock today in a public hearing at City Hall.
And the market is at an all-time high. That's great. But inflation is also at a multi-year high, which is not so great. We will be chatting with fan favorite Dave Simons, partner and managing director of One Private Wealth.
And so the Cardinals did lose the first game of the series in Milwaukee last night. They will continue tonight. It is a 6:40 first pitch and a 5:45 pregame show right here on KMOX. And if you haven't been paying attention for the last week, the Brewers are in first place, just like they always are every year.
Well,
in first place. I don't know how they keep doing it, but they have that magic now.
But the Cubs are in something of a free fall, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
They're struggling.
They're really stinking it up. They won like 10 in a row, and then they lose 9 in a row.
Yeah.
So right now, it is the Milwaukee Brewers division, which never count them out, ever. Again, I will stop doing that after I declared them dead in June last year.
You always count them out. Every
Not
year.
Anymore.
You say they're not real.
Learned my lesson.
How do you feel about that?
About learning my lesson? Pretty good. You just have to stick with it now.
Hey,
so the Brewers always find a way.
Last note on the Brewers. You know our buddy, Stephen Richer, Maricopa County recorder, formerly.
Yeah.
Formerly. He's going to the Cards-Brewers game tonight, I think.
He's in Milwaukee?
Yes.
Why?
I think some kind of strategic thing. He said he can't say no.
Okay. Well,
I think it has something to do with politics, maybe foreign policy.
Okay.
But he said, I think he's a glutton for punishment and he can't say no. So while he's there, he's going to the game.
Do you think he'll take his shirt off? Because they did it at American Family Field last night.
I'm going to reach out to him.
Find out.
I'm going to text right now and ask him if he is going to start tarps off or at least get it going in Milwaukee.
So they did, and then I think they were it looked like security was trying to get them to stop doing it.
That doesn't make any sense.
That can't be real. I know Brendan Schaefer, our guy, who sometimes hangs out with us on the Gas House Gang. He had retweeted somebody else who was filming security confronting the tarps off people in Milwaukee last night, and it looked like they were telling the kids to cut it out. Like, put your shirts back on. Which is nuts because they're adults. Like 20s.
Part of me was wondering because it was unclear, and I only saw it briefly. What if they were overly inebriated, or maybe saying vulgar things and like, "Hey, this is not the true tarps off. This is you guys are just way too drunk and getting out of control."
It could be that.
Yeah.
But if it's just, "Hey, put your shirts back on," we're Puritans around here. Mm-hmm. If it was something like that, then they needed a talking to up in Milwaukee because have a little fun, won't you? If you're going to steal our bit, at least just let the kids have fun.
Let me ask you this. Is there a no shoes, no shirt, no service sign at Major League ballparks?
No.
Are you sure?
I don't think there are any ballparks that do that.
I mean, I think it would be gross to not wear shoes at the ballpark.
Well, yeah. No shoes, of course. You got to have shoes.
Can you imagine
on.
going into the bathroom at Wrigley with no shoes on?
Can you imagine going to the airport with no shoes on?
Yeah. Because remember when, like, you had to take your shoes off, which you still have to do unless you have TSA pre-check, but, and like, maybe
you
were,
don't.
maybe, really? Oh, that's right.
they
just changed it.
Yeah, the last few flights I've been on.
Wasn't that Kristi Noem's last act?
I don't know.
I think that
something
was
like
one of her last acts, which I'm not.
She went
upset
back home
about.
and shot another dog.
I know, but I'm not upset that they nixed the no shoes thing. But that's what would happen is, like, I would go to the airport, I'd get ready, and I did not fly a lot. Like, I fly more now than I did when I was younger. And so I don't think I really had a routine down for flying. And you'd get to the airport and you'd think, oh my gosh.
It was the most tedious
I have to
part.
take my shoes off and walk barefoot through the little scanner.
Yeah.
And it would just make me want to throw up. So then I would bring socks that I would then throw away. So I'd put the socks on, walk across,
not.
and throw. Yeah, socks. You can get socks for 50 cents. Get a packet at Walmart, 20 pairs of socks for like.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So you would buy socks to put them on
Yes.
in security.
Yeah.
And then you would throw them out as soon as you got through TSA.
Yeah. I do that with bowling shoes too. I don't go bowling a lot, but when I do, I throw the socks away.
I've never heard of anybody doing this.
Why would you ever bring those socks home?
The washing machine?
You could have Ebola on your socks now.
You don't have Ebola on. That's not how you get Ebola.
It could be. It's body fluids.
You don't pass it through socks on the ground.
I think.
You've got to be kidding me.
No, I don't understand why you, as what I
And
thought
I
was
am
a
totally-
partner in being somewhat, not totally germaphobe, but a little germaphobe.
Yeah.
You're a clean person. You don't like dog butts on your pillows.
No, gross.
And I just thought,
I can't believe anybody allows that.
The very few things that we have in common, you're telling me you can't wrap your little brain around the idea of buying a cheap pair of socks because, like, maybe the shoes you're wearing, like, you're wearing your Nike shoes, whatever little tennis shoes you always wear, and you take your shoes off, you walk through in your socks, and then you put those dirty socks back in your Nike shoes. Now your shoes have Ebola.
That's not how you get Ebola. Now,
That's famous last words.
So, all right. So now that you're explaining this to me, I hate admitting this, but it's not the worst idea.
You're just
It's
mad
not
you
the worst
haven't
idea.
thought of it.
But I would,
Think of-
but
Joel,
also part of me is like,
just
that
think
is,
of the-
it's insane behavior.
It's not, though.
It kind of
I
is.
think bowling is insane behavior. You're putting on shoes. Think of all the sweaty, athlete's foot, fungusy feet that have been in those
That's
shoes.
why I don't go bowling.
Right, but let's say you're forced to.
Okay.
You're forced. The old battle axe says, listen,
Let's
this is
just go-
really
all right.
important to me that you go bowling.
If she says that to me, we're going to have a talk, a long talk.
And you are not putting those socks back on in your shoes.
But I have every
That's
time.
so gross. Throw the socks away, bro.
I've never heard of this. You have to be alone in this. You have to be the only person in the world who buys extra socks just to throw away once you get through TSA.
So I actually evolved into that because my first method was, and here's the thing, guys, I'm not flying every weekend. You're like, oh, you're wasting socks. No, if you throw away one pair of socks a year, you're fine. Especially, we've all got socks with holes in them. Get an old pair of socks. Don't even buy new socks. Get an old pair of socks. But at any rate, I evolved into it because I used to wear my regular socks. I'd walk across the TSA screening threshold, put the socks in a Ziploc bag, and carry them with me until I could, wash them. And then I thought, all of us go through our sock drawer and throw socks away, right? It's like, that's unbelievable. When you run a marathon, for instance, you bring a throwaway sweatshirt. You put it on, then before the race starts, you toss it because we all have things we can toss. Why do I not apply this to the airport? So then I just started bringing socks. You can buy cheap socks if you don't have, old ones. Most of us have socks with holes in them. Wear them and toss them. It's a genius idea. I'm actually embarrassed. It took me so long to do this.
Maybe they should just do those little footy things that if you go to a shoe store,
Yeah.
that they have you put on when you're trying on shoes.
That's great, but I don't think the TSA is going to go out of its way to be helpful.
Well, clearly not.
Yeah.
But now you don't have to take your shoes off anyway.
Yeah.
So
So anyway, this is what I do. And like I said, now anyone doesn't have to take their shoes off, but ever since I got TSA pre-check years ago, you don't even have to take your laptop out of your bag. You just waltz on through.
That's nice, isn't
Unless
it?
you have an orange in your backpack, which I guess they think looks like a bomb, because I got pulled aside because of a suspicious thing in my backpack, and it was an orange. And they're like, oh, okay. But they searched my whole bag. I think they thought it was a Bugs Bunny bomb.
Like, see a lot of round objects in bags?
It was just one orange.
All right. Speaking of Bugs Bunny, didn't you go see Bugs Bunny or something this weekend?
Yes.
What did you do?
I went to Bugs Bunny at the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra.
Oh, yeah.
Powell Hall is absolutely gorgeous, and the orchestra is amazing. And that's right. And for a lot of us, our first exposure to famous, compositions, orchestral pieces, what have you, was through Looney Tunes. Like, you could be 3 years old and your first exposure to this type of music is through Looney Tunes. So my brother, sister-in-law, and I went, and we thought it would be really fun, just like a total nostalgia night. The place was absolutely packed, and no, it was not all kids. There were a few kids, but it was a lot of adults. And first of all, the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra is just amazing. And this is a touring show. So the conductor, he said he just got back they went to Milan, they were in Paris. I think it debuted in Australia, maybe. But they've been doing this for years, Bugs Bunny at the Symphony. And we did learn a quick St. Louis fact. Carl Stalling, who is credited on 400 to 500 Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies cartoons, he grew up in Missouri. And then when he was 12 years old, Carl Stalling played the piano for silent films in the 1930s. He moved to St. Louis when he got a bit older, played the organ for silent films at the St. Louis Theater, which is Powell Hall. Then he went to Kansas City, where guess who he ran into? Another Missourian, Walt Disney. And they discussed putting music behind animated pieces. He moves to California, and Carl Stalling basically invents this idea of putting orchestral pieces and famous pieces behind animated shorts. He invents Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies with all of that. And also, I did learn this. He invented the click track because the music, every hit of the cymbal or drum had to be perfectly timed with, a Wile E. Coyote piece of dynamite. So he invented the click track, and every major motion picture score has used a click track ever since.
Oh,
kind of interesting.
You learn all of this at the thing?
Because he
at
would
the
talk.
symphony?
They would talk. Yeah. So they would play some music. You'd watch some cartoons with the music behind it, and then the guy would kind of tell stories.
So you said that it wasn't all kids there, right?
Mostly adults.
My question is, do kids even know what Bugs Bunny is?
They do. There were
because it's not 1986 anymore.
I know, and it's not Skibbity Toilet, and it's not Bluey, which is very, very popular because Bluey, I think, came to the Fox or something, and it was all little kids. This was a really good mix of people. Like, when we first walked in, I looked at my brother and I said, I don't see any kids. but then we did start seeing more and more kids, but it was a really good group. I mean, the vast majority were adults. And I would say a lot
think
of
so
people
because it's
our
nostalgic,
age.
right?
Yes, and a lot of people
I grew
our age.
up on it. I doubt most children today grow up on Bugs Bunny.
It would have to be parents being intentional about it.
Yes.
Or, the Cartoon Network. And I will say there were a couple scenes where you could hear little kids belly laughing.
Mm-hmm.
And hearing like a 6-year-old belly laugh is actually pretty contagious because then other people in the crowd would also start laughing because, this was the night of their lives, It was very fun.
That's awesome. I'm glad you got to see that. We had a nice Memorial Day weekend. We talked to Mark Sunlove of the Memorial, right across the street, Soldiers Memorial.
Yesterday?
So they had
Nice.
their program that started at 10 o'clock. Heard it all went very, very well. So glad you're back with us now after enjoying a Memorial Day weekend. And Mark, by the way, I asked this question just because I've had, I don't know how many conversations, or you see people say things like, Memorial Day is not about grilling out and having beer and hanging out with your friends. It's about, remembering those who have fallen in service. And so I asked him What's the appropriate way to do it? You know, is it okay to enjoy your Memorial Day? And he said, yes, of course it is, because that's why they died, so that you can enjoy a day like today. It's okay to enjoy your Memorial Day. So I thought that was a good message from him. Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji on KMOX. We'll have our question of the week that we're going to get to before the end of the hour. And it is, I think it's a good question, because we are here in the news-ish business. This station is the news business. But we are in the news-ish business. So it does have to do with that. And we're going to ask you that question later on. We will talk to Dave Simons, partner and managing director of One Private Wealth, at 10, because the economy is really strange right now. It's Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Anheuser-Busch Brewery Experiences invites you to step up to the plate for an unforgettable happy hour at the Beer Garden on Thursday, May 28th. Join me, Tom Ackerman, and a panel of legendary Cardinals, including Ozzie Smith, Al Raboski, and Matt Adams, for the Redbird Roundtable. Kick off baseball's big weekend with ice-cold beer and unforgettable fan experiences. Behind-the-scenes stories, legendary moments during a live panel discussion. See you at the Beer Garden May 28th, BudweiserTours.com.
In the Palm Beaches, we are truly in a league of our own, with an unbeatable collection of year-round sports on display. Take a swing at tennis or pickleball, or get a front row seat to polo, baseball, and everything in between. Then, find out why we're called Florida's golf capital, with more than 145 beautifully manicured sun-soaked courses perfect for pros and beginners. When it comes to sports destinations, there's no competition. Curate your vacation at thepalmbeaches.com.
It is not hard to destroy a college. Last season, the podcast Campus Files brought you stories of fraternity drug rings, stolen body parts, campus cults, and more.
And now, Campus Files is back for another season.
There's a guy screaming into his phone. He's like, I just saw Charlie Kirk get assassinated right in front of me.
Every week is a new episode and a new story.
It was so chaotic.
It's almost like a university under siege.
Listen to and follow Campus Files. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
There's one box that you'd run back into your burning house to grab. It's the box filled with your videotapes, film reels, and photos. Those sentimental, meaningful, irreplaceable moments. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger. We started Legacy Box over a decade ago so that we could help families save their memories from being destroyed by floods or fires.
And it's not just natural disasters, Adam. Every day, videotapes and photos are slowly fading away, decaying, neglected in closets and attics.
Digitizing your old media stops fading, and preserving those recordings means they are safe forever. It's like magic, converting your shoebox of memories into digital files, ready to watch and share.
It's the only way to ensure your legacy is safe for generations. That's why over 1 million families have already trusted Legacy Box. Legacy Box is simple and easy, it works, and is safe. We'd love to preserve your family's collection. Don't wait, the risk is too great.
Visit legacybox.com/radio to save 50%. That's legacybox.com/radio to get started and save. Legacybox.com/radio.
Hello, 4th of July.
Back-to-back Jack. Kerry Robinson, a hero tonight.
The Cubs visit St. Louis May 29th through the 31st for a weekend of baseball's best rivalry at Busch Stadium. The history is real. The fans are loud, and the energy in the ballpark is unmatched. Day or night, every pitch matters when these two meet. So get ready, Cardinals fans. This is what summer baseball in St. Louis is all about. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/tickets.
The weekend starts at Busch Stadium. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Louvre. With $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at cardinals.com.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Shows Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is Who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Road trip through America's musical past as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra teams up with the sensational doo-wop project for a night of vintage soul and seamless harmonies. Experience the iconic sounds that shaped American music through the evolution of doo-wop, including favorites like Sherry and Walk Like a Man, along with doo-wopified renditions of modern hits and more. Buckle up for a feel-good celebration that brings generations together, featuring the Doo-Wop Project and your St. Louis Symphony Orchestra. Saturday, May 30th at Powell Hall. Tickets on sale now at slso.org.
Still here, still trusted. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Amy's airport socks thing is just not going over very well.
No.
It's not going over well.
It's shocking.
This text message, and you can chime in on the show at 314-436-7900. A text from a listener says, Amy, you're trying way too hard. You're the example of the person who's going to contract some exotic disease. Because what Amy is doing...
That's hurtful.
Well, maybe they're on to something here.
Well, can I...
Like the person who says that this is why you got shingles, your body has no resistance to germs.
Important to note, shingles is not a germs thing. 99% of Americans have the shingles virus. In fact, if you didn't have chickenpox, you probably got the chickenpox vaccine, which means you have it now. You have the virus, and shingles is activated by stress, not germs. So shingles doesn't count.
John is watching on Facebook and says, sorry, Amy, but throwing away socks is a little Howard Hughes-ish.
Howard Hughes. Who's the Playboy guy?
That's your Hugh Hefner.
Hugh Hefner. It was a Hugh.
Howard Hughes was the pilot.
Yeah,
and,
Leonardo DiCaprio. But
and he peed in jars in the bottle or in his
gross.
room and just he wouldn't
why
come
did
out.
he pee in jars?
Because he wouldn't come out of his room for I don't know how long. It was months or something.
That's the thing. I think you have to pick your neuroses. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can't have all the neuroses. And there are some, like when I'm hiking in the mountains, like people germs are to me are grosser than nature germs.
Yeah.
You sit on the ground, you're eating sandwiches, your hands are full of dirt because you pee out in the woods. That's all fine. But the human stuff is a little gross. But I will say this, I'm really proud to say I've never had foot fungus or athlete's foot or warts on your feet. And I think that's because I've been very careful with
Through TSA?
Yes, with
Not-
foot. Well, and also gyms. I always wear flip-flops in like a gym shower anytime you have to shower in a place like that.
Oh, that's common. Yeah, shower
But
shoes.
I'm shocked by the people who don't wear shower shoes. I'm also shocked by the people at pools who walk into the pool bathroom barefoot.
Do you wear...
I wear flip-flops. Okay, this one is Howard Hughes. This one I admit. I don't go barefoot in hotel rooms.
So I was going to ask you this.
I wear flip-flops
I was gonna
or
ask you that.
Birkenstocks.
What about in the shower in a hotel?
So most of the time, I go barefoot in the shower in a hotel. There have been 2 hotels. One of them was at LAX, like an airport hotel, and it was so dirty that I wore flip-flops in the hotel shower. But other than that, I do go barefoot in hotel showers. Do you wear flip-flops in hotel showers?
No.
Oh, yeah, no. Like, the hotel is clean. The only time is, like I said, it was a really, really gross airport hotel. I mean, it was, like, brown. Oh, it's so gross.
Amy also got pulled out of line at TSA because she had an orange in her bag, like the fruit.
I did.
And a texter here says, my daughter was pulled aside at TSA for having 40 packs of Taco Bell Diablo sauce. Where did she get all those? How many tacos did you eat to get 40 packs of it?
Too many of anything is suspicious. Like if you have, what are the things that are always getting stolen out of cars? What am I? I'm totally blanking.
Catalytic converters?
Yes. If you have one catalytic converter, everyone's cool. But if you have 40, they know something's going on.
That's right.
Right? Too many of anything is bad. Amy, would you go into a hot tub at an Airbnb? So hot tubs, I have a very, very complicated relationship because, no, I don't like them. They gross me out. But I also have a friend that I travel with who loves hot springs and hot tubs.
Yeah.
And they gross me out. And so sometimes as an active service, if the place we're staying at is fine, I've gone in the hot tub, but it's not, I really don't have a healthy relationship with hot tubs.
What did Seinfeld call the hot tub? A human bacteria frap?
Yes.
Isn't that what it was?
Yes.
That's a really great term
So, like,
for it.
maybe I'll sit on the edge sometimes,
They are pretty gross.
They're pretty gross. They just are, especially, like, you don't want a hot tub that's, like, discolored. Oh.
Texter here says, therapist here available for Amy. Yeah.
I might take that number down.
Amy, you can use that anyway.
Not for the germs, though. Yeah, not for the germs.
We could all use a little therapy.
Don't you think everybody has some neuroses?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm saying this jokingly. I'm not saying actually diagnosed. But
Yeah, I think everybody has a little thing that they're weird about.
Rachel, and I don't say this in a mean way, but Rachel's very open about this. I think she doesn't drink milk if she didn't pour it herself.
What?
She won't drink milk poured by someone else.
How often does that happen?
What does that even mean?
I think she doesn't. I think she's very. If Rachel is listening, you can text in. But I know that's something about milk and being poured by her or someone else, and she just won't do it.
That is amazing. How often does somebody
pour milk for her?
I've not had anybody pour a glass of milk for me since I was 7. Ever.
Oh my gosh, I did think of you. Speaking of you were 7, they did play one Michigan J Frog cartoon.
I do love Michigan J Frog.
A texter, hot tubs.
I don't love it enough to get it for Christmas though, so don't buy me any Michigan J Frog stuff.
This texter, hot tubs are just leftover human soup.
That's right.
See, everyone has their neuroses, and I think being grossed out by foot fungus is fair.
Amy Marks, Kors, Chris Ranji. When we come back, our question of the week, and also we would like to know if there was a sign-off that happened over the weekend. Really, really sad. I mean, we all move forward, but it was a sad day at the end of last week. We'll tell you about that. Question of the week is coming up. It is the Chris and Amy show on KMOX. And the NBA playoffs, oh my gosh, they are really, really heating up. We're getting to the finals. The Knicks have advanced. They swept the Cavs, and it was a beating, just an absolute beating. The Knicks are in the NBA Finals for the first time, and it feels like 3 generations. And this is your reminder that you're going to want to check in daily with FanDuel, because every day during the playoffs, FanDuel is serving up a happy hour. So what that means is special drops that you don't want to miss, like profit boosts or bonus bets or a lot of other stuff too. And every day, if you go to the FanDuel app, you check for a new reward, and this is going on during the NBA playoffs, every day of the playoffs. So don't miss your shot to get a little extra out of the action. Go to FanDuel.com/Missouri and sign up. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri to get started. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Every day starts the same way, and then it goes wherever it wants.
Life doesn't stop for Cardinals baseball. It just kind of runs alongside it. Dave Glover here from the Dave Glover Show. We're talking real life, real stuff, and yes, a lot of Cardinals along the way, because that's how fans actually live it. It's just like happy hour, man. We get together every day from 1 to 5. We have fun, we laugh, we commiserate, we complain. DGS 1 to 5.
The Dave Glover Show at 1, and then Cardinals baseball.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Americans demanded border security, and House Republicans delivered. According to the Department of Homeland Security, for 10 consecutive months, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has reported 0 illegal aliens released at the border. I'm proud to have worked with the Trump administration to secure our southern border and uphold our immigration laws, and will keep fighting to advance strong policies that protect Missourians and keep America safe.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Mizzou football will be here before you know it. Join us for the 100th anniversary of Memorial Stadium with season tickets. Join the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist and get ready to lock in tickets for 2026. The home schedule is highlighted by games against Florida, Texas A&M, Texas, Kentucky, and Oklahoma. Don't wait to reserve your spot. Join the waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
humid out there. 74 degrees, but it feels like 85. Humid with considerable clouds, a shower in spots later this afternoon, a high of 78. Tonight, cloudy and humid with a thunderstorm in parts of the area, a low of 66.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
Spring is here. Hi, this is Tim Gamma.
And I'm Tom Gamma.
When it comes to tree care, call the name you can trust. Gamma Tree Experts, founded by our dad, Frank Gamma, in 1954.
Frank will be 91 this year, and the third generation of Gammas have joined the business.
Call our team of certified arborists to inspect your trees and shrubs today. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. Now in our 72nd year.
For pruning, fertilization, and removal, call Gamma Tree Experts today or visit us at gammatree.com.
Your trees deserve the best care.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
So, as you may be well aware, and if you've been listening to this station over the last several days and you're listening to the top of the hour news, it's a different sound. It is no longer CBS News, which has been a thing for 1 year shy of a century. CBS Radio News was established. They did such a fantastic job. And this station has long had an affiliation with CBS Radio. And this was obviously one of the great CBS radio stations in the country.
They called it the jewel in the CBS radio crown.
Yeah.
KMOX.
And unfortunately, there is new leadership there at CBS, and they have determined that the news operation on the radio side was no longer necessary, which I disagree with. They weren't losing money. It was the kind of thing where if it lasted for 99 years, there's no reason it can't continue. But they have decided to do away with it. And on Friday night at 11 o'clock our time was the very end of CBS Radio News Forever.
CBS News Special Report. After 99 years, CBS News Radio is going off the air tonight. For this final newscast, the news anchors you've been listening to for years wanted to say goodbye. The longtime anchor of the CBS World News Roundup, Steve Kathan.
Well, we are saying farewell this morning. America's longest-running newscast signs off for the last time.
Washington correspondent Allison Keyes.
I want to shout out my colleagues from Steve Kathan to Deborah Rodriguez to Cammie McCormick, Stacey Lynn, Linda Kenyon, Jim Krasula, and so many others who have given their hearts to this company and to the news. Thanks to our copy editors, desk associates, tape ops, and also our amazing engineers and IT folk.
Morning anchor Deborah Rodriguez agrees.
My gratitude to each and every one of you. And for one last time, this is CBS News Radio.
And Edward R. Murrow.
Good night and good luck.
CBS News Special Report. I'm Christopher Cruz.
So that was it. That was the end of CBS Radio News, which is very, very sad. We are continuing and now beginning a relationship with ABC News. So you will hear it at the top of the hour, and you'll hear some ABC News programming as well throughout the week. So, and we are happy to have that. We're incredibly happy that there is still a network out there that is committed to doing radio news. So, but it's really sad that it came to this. I really don't think it had to, but that's what was decided.
Yeah, and you look at the history of it. I mean, I thought it was so sad hearing the sign-off and all of the names that were just mentioned that, are trusted names, longtime names, people who've devoted themselves to CBS News Radio or CBS Radio News. And going back to the history like we did last week with Edward Murrow being in Europe with the rise of Adolf Hitler and this idea of starting to report on that circumstance, exactly what was going on. And that had not been done before, to report live in that way, to have people set up. And CBS News, the radio, carried Americans and their information through World War II. And then, of course, from then on, they even had CBS Radio during the liberation of the concentration camps, describing what people were seeing. And again, that was such a big part of that CBS reporting.
And I know that you will hear from people who say, man, news isn't like it used to be, and there's no Edward Murrow anymore, and they don't do it like that, and there's no Walter Cronkite. The thing is, yeah, there are. There are a lot of anchors and reporters who are doing just as good a work. It's just that collectively the attitude in the country about news is different, and that's a lot to do with politicians that are purposefully trying to paint journalists as scum. And prominent politicians are doing this. And you know what? It works. And that's why they do it. We have a president who is very intentional about it. And Leslie Stahl talked about it. And she said to him off the air one time, why do you do this? Why do you continually say this about the media? And he says, well, because it works. And that's exactly why he does it. And he knows it's nonsense. And I think most people understand that there are really good journalists and there are great reporters out there. A lot of them, the vast majority of them, are trying to do really good work. And there's just this sentiment that they're not. And I think that's BS. And I think it's lazy on our part collectively to allow that to perpetuate. It's too bad because I believe in traditional media, and I think if something ever happened and it all just went away and all we were left with were podcasts and bloggers who don't vet anything and they just say whatever they want to without trying to get it right, I think we would be much worse off as a society. And it will take some time to get there. It'll take years before we get to that point where you take a 10,000-foot view and go, man, things are so much worse now. Because we don't have real, actual, legitimate journalists doing work, doing good work, and shining a light on places where the light needs to be shown. And so I don't know. I hope we don't get there. I hope that we come to our senses as a country and we realize how important a lot of this traditional media really is. And that includes outlets like CBS News.
And I think, yeah, obviously the importance of a free press. We take that for granted, just how independent overall our media is until, you look at a country like Russia or China where it's just state-run propaganda. And so you need that independent free press. And definitely the idea of these legacy news outlets, whether it's newspapers or, CBS News, ABC, NBC, the radio, and so forth, it got dinged and tainted over time for various reasons, which should not tarnish the entire industry or trivialize just how important it is to have reporters on the ground and people asking tough questions of leaders. And here's the thing, though. I get it. I get when people feel frustrated or skeptical. Some of that happens, I think, when we switched to the 24-hour news cycle where everything became breaking news and you started to level the landscape of what was really important and what wasn't. I think even with cable news and talking heads, a lot of people, I do think, started to equate the fake news with people who are opinion givers. I'm an opinion giver. I'm not a reporter on the ground, right? And there's a difference between a journalist and opinion givers. And I think people started blending opinion givers and journalists. I think with the onset of social media, you had some reporters and journalists who normally have to go through the vetting process of their pieces through the gatekeeping of the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal, but then could suddenly give opinions on Twitter. I think that was dangerous for journalists. And then there are some really bad headlines, and there are bad eggs. There are bad eggs who I think do report unfairly. So you can't throw out the whole industry. What I'm saying is I understand, or I get frustrated with how certain things are covered, but it doesn't mean that it is so vitally important to have journalists and reporters, especially local journalists who know what's going on.
It seems to be the one industry, though, where we throw out the baby with the bathwater every time.
We do.
It's the one, because there are bad doctors, bad lawyers, bad contractors, bad everything, but it's only journalists who take the hit for a couple of bad eggs. When I say vast majority, I'm talking like 90+% of them are really trying to do good work and trying to get it right, because if they go to journalism school, they are taught to. They're taught to get it right. They're taught how to get it right. And I think that we're in a place where it's so easy to just demonize an entire
industry
because of a couple of bad people. And it's not just the opinion givers that are causing this. When you have the president is talking to reporters, and a reporter asks a legitimate question to him, and he says, "You're fake news. You're fake news," because he doesn't like the question. Well, yeah, you've been doing that for 10 years now. That's going to color some people's thoughts on how they look at the news, too, because they hear him say it over and over and over again. Well, of course he doesn't like journalists, because they might find out some stuff he's doing that's not good, and they report on that. I wouldn't like that either. Let's say I was stealing things from a store. Let's say I was going into Schnucks and I was stealing apples, and nobody had caught me, and then a reporter found out that I was stealing apples and started reporting on that. I probably wouldn't like that reporter. No wonder he doesn't like them, because they're presenting what he's doing.
And like I said, well, yes.
But it does. But if you follow him and you love that guy, and he says something like, "All these reporters here are fake, or all fake news, all of them," well, you'll start to believe it.
But that even happened. I mean, that was happening with Rush Limbaugh. Like, didn't he always say, "I don't believe the liberal media"? I mean, that was pre-Trump, where
Rush was saying he doesn't like anybody that's not conservative. That's what he was saying.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Like I said, I, especially being in, writing, literature, all of that, you understand how you can write a story to amplify some things and minimize other things. You can bury what may be a lead to some people. You can bury that in the 15th paragraph. You can write a headline a certain way that already skews the way people are approaching a certain story. And I understand that, which is why the bar is so high for journalists. In the same way, like Ranj will say, if you're a Supreme Court justice, you can't take gifts. And if you're a surgeon, sorry, you can't do drugs and have a drinking problem. If you're a pilot, you can't sit around drinking all the time. There are certain things, and the standards for journalists needs to be high. And yes, there have been journalists, and I think even more so, you may disagree with me, but I think in recent years, you see a little bit of a turn where it's almost some younger journalists feel that it's their moral obligation to help sway the way people think rather than present a truly objective view. And like you said, you can call it activism, or you can call it just even like a subtle agenda, the way you write a story. And I will say this: subscribe to the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, the Atlantic, the National Review. You can read those things and get a vibe where the editorial boards tend to lean and where even some of the reporters tend to lean. But there is so much good work being done that I think you can't let laziness or this idea that everyone's out to get you tarnish the entire industry, because we really do need journalists. And I'm saying this as someone who gets it, who's been frustrated with the New York Times specifically for certain instances. And so I get it, but it's not everybody's evil. You can't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
No, and that's what people do. And especially if reporters or journalists report on people they like, and the reporting is negative because they've done something bad. They've done something that requires reporting. And if you have aligned yourself with that, and this happens in sports too, where it's almost like, you don't want anybody talking about your team negatively. You can do it because it's your team, but you don't want anybody else. You don't want somebody from Chicago talking about the Cardinals. You don't want that. You don't want to hear somebody nationally say bad things about the Cardinals or their fan base or anything, right? It's your team. And I think we've we have really gone into that place too, where people have their teams and they're flying the colors, and that's pretty much it. That's Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji. We are going to bring to you the question of the week, which, by the way, we have called an audible on the question of the week.
Because of popular demand.
Because of popular demand. And we will tell you what it is. Just keep listening to the show. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
All right, I think it was, really during COVID when I started to notice just the effect stress was having on my face. Also, turning into my 40s at that time, you notice wrinkles, you notice being outside in the sun. I definitely did not wear sunscreen as much as I should have. And I wanted to just take some steps, nothing too dramatic, nothing too crazy expensive or out there. Just take some steps to take care of my face. And that's why I was so thrilled when I was introduced to the Only Facial, because at the Only Facial, they cater all their different steps to your face and your skin's needs and what you can handle, whether it's, dermaplaning or microdermabrasion, massage, LED light therapy, microcurrent, high frequency, all those steps, and they do it the way your face can handle it, so there's no downtime when you leave the facial. It's also $125 flat. That includes gratuity. So no stress about tipping. They're not going to try to sell you products. And I love that. Keep it neat and tidy for me. Help my face look better today and in months to come. That's what they do at The Only Facial. I cannot recommend it highly enough. TheOnlyFacial.com. U-City, De Pere, Clayton, Sunset Hills, Frontenac, Creve Coeur, the streets of St. Charles, Edwardsville. TheOnlyFacial.com.
Feel the rhythm and turn it up, St. Louis. Legendary rock icons Santana and the Doobie Brothers are bringing the heat to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater June 20th for the Oneness Tour 2026. From Black Magic Woman to Listen to the Music, this is the concert event fans don't want to miss. It'll be a summer night soon not forgotten. Santana, the Doobie Brothers. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com. For more info, go to KMOX.com/events.
Don't miss the final home game of the season. Your St. Louis Battlehawks take on the Dallas Renegades Friday, May 29th at 7 p.m. at the Dome. It's Battlehawks Kids Day. Plus, fans can score an Archie bobblehead while supplies last. Tickets start at just $18 at UFLBattlehawks.com. Caw-caw.
In a world in need of a hero, one man rises to the challenge in style. He is...
just driving the kids to soccer practice.
Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA-estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
And hey, come on, no cleats on the seats.
Hey guys, Glover here with my good friend John Moriarty. John and I have been friends and business partners for years now. He is the principal at E3 Consultant Group, and he is back in the DGS fold. So John, introduce yourself to the listeners.
I am so happy to be back and also happy to talk about our firm, E3. We have over 70 advisors, Dave, now in multiple cities, working with our clients on the wealth, tax, insurance, asset protection, business consulting side. One of my biggest passions right now is working with business owners and trying to help them reduce their tax liability, improve their cash flow for future generations.
I've known John for years and years and years now. John is a good guy, very smart, excellent pitcher in baseball. That means a lot to me. You have
those days are long gone.
You have a new book out.
We do have a new book out. It's called The Entrepreneur Playbook, written for business owners that have an entrepreneurial mindset. And the book should be dropping on Amazon probably in the next 30 days. And we've got white papers that are supporting it. A lot of that information is going to be on our website at e3wealth.com. But the key thing to me, Dave, is we try to keep creating educational tools for business owners, individuals, families, so that they can protect the purpose of their money.
So whether you are interested in classic personal retirement, business growth, or just an overall tax strategy, reach out to my friend John at e3wealth.com.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
Chris Raunchy, Amy Markscores, because life is too short for boring radio. 104.1 FM KMOX. Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
Remember the all-drug Olympics from SNL?
Yeah.
They kind of did that over the weekend with the enhanced games.
Heard about
on
that.
the Las Vegas Strip. And it was a big, fat dud. So Fred Curley, who was an Olympic athlete, I think he won bronze or something in track and field. He competed in the enhanced games, although you could choose to be both doped up or clean. And he said he was clean, allegedly.
Why would you? Okay.
I know, right? I think it's because he wants to win money, and for some reason, he's not doing too well in traditional track and field. So anyway, they had the all-drug Olympics. Fred Curley won the 100-meter in 9.97 seconds, which I think would have put him in last place in the Paris Olympics. But he won. He got $250,000. The second athlete ran 10.05. He also claimed to be clean, and I guess everyone else was dirty, and they were all terrible. And there was only one world record set. I guess that was in swimming. But everyone else, I mean, pretty low performances. In fact, it was reported that a lot of high school meets have deeper fields than the field that we're at this all-drug Olympics. Just, I guess, to be fair, I guess it's just the loser athletes who wanted to do it. Why would you want to do the all-drug Olympics? And now you can't compete in real track and field events?
Just love drugs.
I guess. But
You
Fred
just love
Curley
enhanced-
claimed to be clean.
Yeah, I don't know why you would participate if you're going to be
I
clean.
think he did it maybe because he thought, I'm the only real athlete here.
Uh-huh.
As far as proven Olympian, I think I can win.
Did anybody pull their own arms off?
They pulled off their arms! Not that I know of.
That didn't happen?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the only part of the all-drug Olympics that I remember.
He's going to feel that in the morning. Did you see, Amy, that the United States Postal Service is reissuing the Mr. Rogers stamp?
No.
So, back in 2018, there was a Mr. Rogers stamp. And there is a contest, which I didn't know was a thing, but they have a thing called a Stamp Encore contest where they will bring back a stamp and people can vote on it. And Mr. Rogers has won. So it will, starting on June 1st, the stamp will become available. And it celebrates the organization's 250th anniversary. I didn't realize the post office was exactly as old as the country.
Are you joking?
I thought it was I think it was
A
exactly.
couple years?
Yeah. You know,
right, because they didn't do the Declaration of Independence.
And there's a post office. I thought it'd be I don't know, 248 years old. I think it's great.
1775.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
So a year before the Declaration.
Unfortunately, you're going to have a difficult time getting one of these stamps because I believe they're only going to be available in the Boston area.
That's dumb.
It doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, Benjamin Franklin was the first postmaster general. Man, I forgot all of this.
Did they do that right away?
No, the year before.
Oh.
July 26, 1775. So the post office is older.
So the
But they couldn't have called it the United States Post Office.
it was probably something else. What was the Pony Express?
The
That was
rebellious
different, right?
colonies post office.
Partner and managing director of One Private Wealth, Dave Simons, joins us every Tuesday, and the market is at an all-time high. It's always going up, but so is inflation. It is at a high over the last several years. It's not great at the moment. We'll talk to Dave Simons about that dichotomy when we come back on KMOX.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. Everyone knows we need to do what we can to protect our eyesight. That includes finding the right eye doctor. For 30 years, I've been recommending the doctor's doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranj Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andrew Royer. I'm one of their patients, and so are my wife, daughter, son, and sister. These doctors and their technicians spend a lot of time with their patients. They're expert at cataracts, multifocal lenses, and light adjustable lenses. And if you're experiencing dry eye, don't hesitate to make that appointment. Dry eye, if not treated properly, can cause harm that's difficult to reverse. For excellent eye care, do what I do. Call the doctor's doctors at 314-966-5000 and visit one of their offices in St. Louis, St. Charles, and Sullivan, and at yourEyeDoc.com.
This traffic is awful.
Can we stop at a bathroom?
Are you all right?
I keep having stomach issues after eating, like diarrhea, gas and bloating, abdominal pain, and sometimes oily stools.
Sound familiar? Those stomach issues may actually be a pancreas issue called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. Creon pancrelipase may help manage EPI. Creon is a prescription medicine used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall. If you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. Call 800-633-9110 or visit creoninfo.com to learn more. That's CREONinfo.com.
I'm asking my doctor about EPI and if Creon could help.
Hey, Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sportsbook at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circusports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circus Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
At Seidenstricker Nobe Partners, we know the right equipment can make all the difference. Right now, you can slide into a deal with 0% financing for 84 months on all John Deere 1 through 5E series compact tractors. Whether you're managing acreage, maintaining property, or taking on bigger projects, these tractors are built to perform. Don't strike out on this limited time offer. Come see us or visit snpartners.com.
Offer valid through 6/30/2026. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
At 10:01, we have cloudy skies, 75 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch. The new downtown St. Louis Entertainment District could be staffing security officers to patrol 24/7 in coordination with the police department.
I asked Chief of Police Robert Tracy how this would work, and he emphasized nothing is set in stone and things are still being worked out. He tells us they wouldn't necessarily be utilizing his officers who would already be working, but they could be off-duty officers working in an arrangement similar to when the Police Foundation provided funding.
There are some money that doesn't go through secondary. It actually goes through the police department, and it's sort of like an overtime.
Tracy says they believe the current academy class, set to graduate 19 officers in June, will also help provide some staffing. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Missouri's new nuclear task force now digging into the realities of nuclear power, including the cost to build and the value it could bring. Chairman Kurt Schaefer, director of the Missouri Department of Natural Resources, says the demand for more energy has been increasing since 2019.
It's generally accepted now that we're looking at least 3% growth every year in
in energy demand, at least until 2040. The United States has never experienced energy growth in demand at that level. So that's why you're seeing this renewed effort looking at nuclear, because it really is one of the only options that can satisfy that type of baseload growth.
The task force created by Governor Mike Kehoe brings together state leaders, lawmakers, and utility representatives from across Missouri. Members are studying how nuclear energy could fit into the state's future, with recommendations expected in a report to the governor later this year. A new study shows all Illinois rivers contain microplastics. The study, conducted by the Chicago-based Environment Illinois Research and Education Center. Emily Kowalski, one of the lead researchers, says water was sampled from 31 sites across Illinois, including the Mississippi, Ohio, and Illinois rivers, as well as the Great Lakes.
We unfortunately found microplastic in every waterway that we tested.
Kowalski says sadly she wasn't surprised by the results.
We know that there is plastic being found basically everywhere, from the tallest mountaintops to the deepest trenches of our ocean. So I was not too surprised.
From the KMOX business desk, the company behind the stalled Nexstar Tegna local TV news merger fighting back in court. Nexstar has asked a federal appeals court to scale back an injunction forcing it to keep Tegna stations operating separately. That includes St. Louis's KSTK Channel 5, which would otherwise be combined with KTVI Channel 2 and KPLR Channel 11. Nexstar argues the order is far too broad and is costing it millions of dollars. It's also arguing the dozen-plus bipartisan states suing to block the deal shouldn't even be allowed in the case. California's Attorney General, meantime, says he doesn't believe Nexstar will win, calling the merger presumptively unlawful. Let's get a check now of the forecast. Weather sponsored by Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm.
Mostly cloudy and rather humid this afternoon. A shower late, high 78. Cloudy, humid tonight. A shower and thunderstorm in the area, low 67. For tomorrow, intervals of clouds and sunshine, warm but humid with a stray thunderstorm, high 84. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
We have partly sunny skies reported in Florissant and St. Peters, 75 in Florissant, 74 in St. Peters, and cloudy skies downtown with 75 degrees. I'm Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. We're partners committed to you, your business, and your community. From family law to litigation, we're ready to serve. Visit SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Chris and Amy now. The Dave Glover Show at 1 on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Chris and Amy on KMOX, hour 2 of 3 on 104.1 FM and the free Odyssey app. It is time to welcome in our Tuesday regular, one of them, Dave Simons, partner and managing director of One Private Wealth, as the stock market is just on an all-time high right now. Meanwhile, inflation also pretty darn high at the moment, which is interesting. We've got Dave Simons with us now. How's it going, Dave?
You know, it's going well, Chris. I was just thinking about this. You two were talking about the enhanced games, and I think that's what the stock market could be accused of. It seems to be drug-induced almost, but I'm reminded of the late, great Jack Buck and his line when Mark McGwire tied Roger Maris at 61 homers back in September of 98, and he said, "Pardon me while I stand up and applaud." And that's how I feel. It's like, okay, why don't we just accept this for what it is? We'll get to the sidelines. We'll let the market do its thing. We'll stand up and applaud because nothing seems to want to get in this way. And you even mentioned it, Chris, how we've got multi-year inflation numbers, interest rates going up, oil prices going up. We have consumer sentiment remaining at multi-year lows. And if you went on one of those prediction betting markets and you were told all of that in advance, how could you be blamed for betting that the stock market would go down? It only makes sense. And yet here we are. We stand and applaud because the market is defying every historical record.
Does that mean, though, or does it sort of signify that the market is not really the economy for most people? Because not everybody has stocks, first of all. And secondly, an average person who is just getting by, paycheck to paycheck, lower middle class or worse than that, is thinking, yeah, great, the market's up, but I don't feel it. My day-to-day is not any better.
This is an asset-driven economy, not an income-driven economy right now. So you nailed it. If you have hard assets like stocks, you are doing very well. You may complain when you're at the gas pump, of course, or go to the grocery store, but look at your 401k if you're participating. Look at your other accounts and say, oh, okay, well, I'm doing well. And this therein gets back to that K economy that we keep talking about. The divide is growing as people in hard assets, in stocks, are doing very, very well. And I need to make this point. I was joking about this being kind of a drug-induced market, like it's on some sort of high. This is not fake. This is real. The market really does have some backing to this, and it's record profits. It's unbelievable that the first quarter, the S&P 500, the average stock or the average company reported a profit increase from a year ago of 28%. I'd have to go back and look the last time we had an average of the S&P at that high. The tech companies, the AI related stocks, they're still reporting profit gains of over 40%. So this is real. The only question is, okay, how long does it go? And that's sort of the unanswerable question, but everyone's asking it.
Have we ever had an asset-based economy like this over income?
Boy, that's a good question, Amy. I have to go back and think about that. When I compare, and a lot of people do, to what's going on, the technological revolution of the internet, inflation was relatively low back then too, and I think income was keeping up with that. So, great question. My knee-jerk reaction is nothing to this extreme, Amy. I don't know that we've ever seen this kind of a divide by people who are standing on the sidelines and saying, wait, the train has left. Now, some people would say, well, it doesn't have to be completely gone for you. If you haven't started investing, do so, especially for younger investors. And I would echo that. You should always be investing. But again, if you're a little bit older and you're not involved and you don't have as much time to make up losses, is now the time to get in? That's the question.
I know that the AI market or bubble or whatever you want to call it is really, really big right now, and it's real. AI is here to stay. However, since so much of the market is driven by how people, feel about AI and what they think it's going to do, as we have some companies like Uber saying, we've spent a lot on AI and we're not quite seeing that it's worth it yet. Or Duolingo, which I know is small, it's an app, saying, yeah, we're going to back off on AI. How many companies would it take to throw just a little bit of hesitation into AI for it to change the way AI is affecting the market, if at all?
Yeah, Amy, you go back and look at history, and every major economic revolution that we've had typically ended, unfortunately, in a trail of tears for investors. You can go all the way back to railroads in the mid-1800s. It starts out with a lot of hype, a lot of excitement, and then you get the overbuilding, greed. Then there's cheap money. Then there are folks who are getting loans to get involved who probably would not have been approved for those loans in a normal time. And it's not that the product or the revolution goes away. Of course not. Railroads are still around today. Fast forward to the last generation. The internet is still here today. But in every case, you had a major sell-off because there was too much greed and too much build-out. So yes, I do believe, don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but this is just based on historical fact, that we will probably hit that wall again at some point. That's not today. It's not tomorrow, probably not this year, but we're going to continue to see, I think, a lot of hype, a lot of money coming in. And then what we'll be looking for, and what I would tell other investors listening to be looking for, when do some of these companies, they don't beat their earnings expectations anymore? Demand, it was a little soft last quarter. We weren't expecting it. Or we can't keep up with demand, but we don't have the facilities to build anything more. So then that demand that's what you have to start looking for. When that day comes, and it could still be a few years, that's when you're going to have to be very, very defensive and careful with your investing.
Dave Simons is with us on the Quiver River Electric guest line today. So How will this whole thing in Iran, which has already affected the economy in a very big way? We talked about prices. We talked about oil and gas and how expensive it is at the pump. And this is directly tied into the Strait of Hormuz being closed and the start of the Iran war. If this does get solved, if some sort of deal, some tangible deal is reached, how quickly do we think that's going to affect the market and how?
Well, I think the market has upside after that, but there's something called selling into the news. The market expects that this thing is going to be wrapped up sooner rather than later. Now, Mr. Market has been wrong because when we go back to the start of this in late February, I think investors thought this thing would be wrapped up by the end of March. And here we are almost getting into June. But the market still believes and investors still believe this thing will be wrapped up. When it does happen, you could have some of your big institutional players counterintuitively start to take profit and say, okay, man, we got through that. Ooh, okay, I'm going to start to pull back a little bit. But after that, then I think you get another leg higher. So, yeah, I would tell people stay invested. Don't worry if you get a little pullback because the big boys and girls are just taking some profit. Stay fully invested because as worried as I am about having another bubble in the future, as worried and concerned as I am down the road of too much greed getting into this whole AI phenomenon, we're not there yet. So we continue to stay fully invested. So I suspect we still have some more record highs to go.
If you talk about the market, self-correcting with a free market and all of that, is that idea of a bubble and then a bust just the traditional or maybe a more severe traditional autocorrective mechanism for the market? Like that's just how it works?
That's exactly how it works. Not counting people who are arsonists and start fires, but as we know, there is a naturistic thing of forest fires, and it's a cleanse to it. And forests come back actually stronger and thicker than ever. It's just nature's way of doing some cleaning up and coming back even better. And the market has the same sort of style to it. And it has a history of that in that you have these boom and bust cycles. Now, keep in mind that during these cycles, the boom, it kind of goes up an escalator. It can last for years. The bust is straight down an elevator. And it's very, very painful. Fortunately, it doesn't last for years. It can last 6 months. Sometimes it can go as long as a couple of years. We saw that in 2002 during the internet bubble bursting. But that's why you need to... even though I think this market's going higher, I would still advise people not to reach for extra risk. Wow, I've got some tech stocks and they're doing really well. I should maybe double that. You might want to talk to your advisor about that. Do not get greedy. Bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered.
That's good. A good analogy there. Hey, quickly, Dave, I know we talked about the big busts like internet, housing, could it be AI? Were there any mini or smaller bubble busts that maybe we didn't pay as much attention to because they weren't as big of a deal?
Yeah, you have some of the internal ones that don't get the headlines. I think of things like cloud computing, which sort of gets lost in the discussion. Everyone talks about the internet, and that was huge in the 90s and into the early 2000s. Now it's AI. Well, 15 years ago, kind of in the middle of that, we had cloud computing. And those stocks are doing really well. And then they crashed, man. Again, little too much overbuilding, too many companies coming in, too much money chasing it at the top. Those things corrected, but as we know, cloud computing didn't go anywhere. It's stronger than ever, and cloud computing stocks have done very, very well. So, Amy, that's a great point because that's actually my hope. If I had any power here, what I would prefer, instead of some big, huge crash or bear market down the road, have these little mini corrections along the way. That keeps the market healthy, it keeps it honest, and it reminds investors, hey, there is risk here. So don't just keep investing every day thinking that that's all it does is go up. That's my hope, is that we get mini corrections in the interim instead of the big one later on.
What can a government, if anything, do to try to keep us in that window that you're talking about? Instead of, I'm not sure how much they can, but is there something they can do to try and foster that?
Yeah, I wouldn't want it to, frankly, Chris, because I think when the government tries to get in and starts practicing some sort of statist entry into this to say, hey, we really want to keep people from getting hurt from a market crash, they can actually make things worse because money will eventually go to where it's treated the best. And if government gets involved in this area, money will go elsewhere. It's just one of those things. You have to let free market principles and free market forces do their dirty work, and we all come out better in the end.
Dave Simons, we love having conversations with you every Tuesday. Thank you again.
All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you next week.
Thanks, Dave.
Dave is the partner and managing director of One Private Wealth with us on KMOX. And we did promise you that we would bring you a question of the week. We're going to do that when we come back on 104.1 FM KMOX. It's Ollie Tuesday. Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol on the Gas House Gang at noon.
Hello, 4th of July. Back-to-back Jack. Kerry Robinson, a hero tonight.
The Cubs visit St. Louis May 29th through the 31st for a weekend of baseball's best rivalry at Busch Stadium. The history is real, the fans are loud, and the energy in the ballpark is unmatched. Day or night, every pitch matters when these two meet. Get ready, Cardinals fans. This is what summer baseball in St. Louis is all about. Don't miss a moment of it. Get your tickets at Cardinals.com.
The weekend starts at Busch Stadium. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Paris turns into the hottest happy hour in the Louvre. With $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at Cardinals.com.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
Since we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see and hear lots of lawyer ads. It seems that most are bragging on what they got their clients. But be careful. If you heard that someone sold their car for $500,000, you would be impressed. But if you later learned that it was a rare $10 million Ferrari, would you say that person got screwed? And that's before you even know if it's true. Who is fact-checking? And how much went to medical bills and lawyers' fees? If you want to get an idea what your case may be really worth, visit forthepeople.com and go to Settlements and Verdicts. You will see what a law firm like ours is capable of. And fact-check for yourself. All that glitters is not gold. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won big, a lot. At Morgan & Morgan, we represent consumers. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for Your Retirement Highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Anheuser-Busch Brewery Experiences invites you to step up to the plate for an unforgettable happy hour at the Beer Garden on Thursday, May 28th. Join me, Tom Ackerman, and a panel of legendary Cardinals, including Ozzie Smith, Al Raboski, and Matt Adams for the Redbird Roundtable. Kick off baseball's big weekend with ice-cold beer and unforgettable fan experiences. Behind-the-scenes stories, legendary moments during a live panel discussion. See you at the Beer Garden May 28th, BudweiserTours.com.
Spring is here. Hi, this is Tim Gamma. And I'm Tom Gamma. When it comes to tree care, call the name you can trust. Gamma Tree Experts, founded by our dad, Frank Gamma, in 1954.
Frank will be 91 this year, and the third generation of Gammas have joined the business.
Call our team of certified arborists to inspect your trees and shrubs today. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. Now in our 72nd year.
For pruning, fertilization, and removal, call Gamma Tree Experts today or visit us at gammatree.com.
Your trees deserve the best care.
Built on a century. Focused on today. The voice of St. Louis. KMOX.
I do throw away my socks at the airport, whether they're new or they're used after going through TSA, because it's just gross, like Amy said.
Hey.
That's Kathleen from St. Louis.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Who does the same weird behavior that Amy does when she goes through TSA.
You're jealous that I'm embarrassed it took me so long to do this, but you're jealous that I discovered that when you had to take your shoes off at TSA, all you have to do is bring an old pair of socks that you were going to toss anyway. Maybe they've got a hole in it, or just new cheap socks. Put on the socks when you take off your shoes, walk through the screener at TSA, take off the socks, put your shoes on, toss the socks in the trash can. It's genius. It's 50 cents.
So talk about embarrassment. I think I'd be embarrassed to do that in front of people.
No, you wouldn't.
You put on another pair of socks.
You don't get embarrassed about anything. And no one's watching you at TSA to say, wait a minute, were those his original socks?
And, well, no, they're going to watch you put them on. They're watching you put them on.
Nobody's watching you.
And also, you're holding up the line even more.
You're not holding up the line.
Thankfully, we don't have to do that anymore because it's...
Kristi Noem's dying wish.
It is the one good thing she did, was make sure that we don't have to take our shoes off. Because, what was his name? Richard's the terrorist. It was Richard...
Richard the terrorist?
Yeah, that's not Richard the terrorist. I almost said Richard Jewell. Not him, that poor guy.
Oh, yeah.
Reed. Richard Reed. That's it. Yeah. Who tried to blow up a plane he had explosives in his shoes. And ever since then, we had to take our shoes off at the airport.
It was performative safety because also, did you see that wasn't the Department of Homeland Security or some other, it was a reputable organization that found out that TSA, like 96% of the time, you could get something sketched through TSA. They had a really, really bad catch rate. Although if I were Kristi Noem and I said, that you can keep your shoes on, it should have said you don't have to take off your shoes, Noem, more. Okay.
So that has now, we had an original question of the week, but we've scrapped it because there was so much
bile thrown at me. No,
yeah.
Listen, I said, here's the thing. We all have our neuroses. You have to pick and choose your neuroses. You can't have all of them. You can't have none of them. Mm-hmm. You pick and choose. Like I said, I go hiking. You're out in the mountains. You have to pee in the woods, whatever. That's fine. I love nature. But certain things gross me out. Like bowling shoes are disgusting. And so I will do the same sock theory with bowling shoes. You bring your own socks. You throw the socks away when you're done. I also realized I started this new thing a couple of years ago where you have the little travel pack of Clorox wipes. And when you get to your seat on the airplane, you just wipe down the armrests and the tray table. All the stuff you'll be manhandling.
Planes are pretty gross because
all the stuff you'll be manhandling.
They're not really cleaning those things. They do like a little wipe down, but they don't do much of a wipe down. So it has led us to a new question of the week. What are your neuroses? Or if you have one. So Amy wipes down everything with Clorox wipes. So that's a neuroses.
Ranj, when I wipe down this studio, tell me this is not the sickest studio you've ever seen.
People are always sick around here.
And I didn't get the flu or COVID or strep throat or anything this year. I got shingles, but that is stress-related, not germ-related.
So on our Twitter account, you need to follow us at Chris Amy KMOX. Go find us and follow. And then give us your neuroses. What is it? What is the thing that you do that's very weird? And you acknowledge that it is weird. So go ahead and you'll see the poll right there. It's not a poll. It's a question. It's an open-ended question. And you can give us what your thoughts are. You can also leave them in text form here, like this texter who says, I won't go in a public pool. Not enough chlorine in the universe, especially drink pools.
Like where they have the bar, the swim up bar.
Oh.
Yeah, or people stand with drinks in their hands.
And I'll tell you why. And they say here, never get out to pee.
Yeah.
If you are drinking, you probably have to go potty a little bit more than normal.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are standing in one of those, I guarantee you there are people who are just letting it rip.
100%.
Yeah. So that is one.
They say that chlorine has no smell, and you only smell chlorine when it comes in contact with urine, which is why pools that smell strongly of chlorine have the potty smell.
So
are filled with potty. Anyway, I
have never heard this before.
I've heard this.
Okay.
Get our research team on it.
Yeah.
I'm on it.
First of all, I just want our research team here to spell neuroses correctly in the tweet.
Did I?
I don't know.
I didn't even tweet yet, so it's impossible for me to spell it wrong.
I'm making sure.
N-E.
Just spell neuroses correctly. Whatever it is you do.
Big Blonde Dan said hotel carpet. Okay, that's because I don't walk barefoot in hotel rooms. And I don't sit on upholstered chairs in hotel rooms, but I don't walk barefoot. I wear, Birkenstocks or flip-flops or something. Big Blonde Dan said, hotel carpet, do you have hotel socks too? And I'm pretty sure that bowling shoe spray they use can kill Ebola. Well,
the bowling shoe spray, yes, because you do not get Ebola from sharing shoes with people.
But Big Blonde Dan, no, I don't have hotel socks because that grosses me out. So I just wear like my Birkenstocks or flip-flops, just some kind of slip-on shoe.
So
and then of course in gyms you use shower shoes, but that's not a neurosis. That's just normal.
So go ahead and tell us by following us on Twitter. Let us know what your neurosis is. Your neurose.
What your neuroses are. Big Blonde Dan said, "Oh man, with all that wasted sock money, you could pay for pre-check." No, I have pre-check now. This was before pre-check. I haven't had to take off my shoes or take my laptop out of my bag in quite a few years.
At Chris Amy KMOX, it'll be pinned right there at the top, our question of the week. And we want to hear from you. Also, you could text in at 314-436-7900. The Cardinals are in the midst of a series with the first place Brewers in Milwaukee. We're going to talk to Vinny Rotino, Brewers TV analyst for FanDuel Sports Network in Wisconsin. We'll talk to Vinny when we come back on KMOX.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
All access with Ollie Marble on the Gas House Gang.
I show up every day looking forward to what's next for this group. This group fits my personality to a T. I love what we're doing. I love how we're going about it. I love the honest conversations. I love the grit. And there's been certain times where I've caught myself where bases are loaded, our back's up against the wall, and I can't help but smile. I show up every day looking forward to what's next for this group.
Ollie Marble, Tuesdays at noon on KMOX.
The final home game of the season is here, St. Louis. Your St. Louis Battlehawks hit the field Friday, May 29th at 7 p.m. against the Dallas Renegades at the Dome at America Center. It's Battlehawk Kids Day, packed with family fun, Battlehawks energy, and an Archie bobblehead giveaway while supplies last. Join Battlehawks Nation. Bring the whole crew and help close out the season the only way St. Louis knows how. Loud and proud. Caw-caw. Because caw is the law. Get tickets starting at just $18 at UFLBattlehawks.com or Ticketmaster.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Humid and cloudy today, 76 degrees, but it feels like 90. 78 for the high. Tonight, cloudy and humid with a thunderstorm in parts of the area. A low of 66. Weather sponsored by Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate today, now offering 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com.
Mizzou football will be here before you know it. Join us for the 100th anniversary of Memorial Stadium with season tickets. Join the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist and get ready to lock in tickets for 2026. The home schedule is highlighted by games against Florida, Texas A&M, Texas, Kentucky, and Oklahoma. Don't wait to reserve your spot. Join the waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Americans demanded border security, and House Republicans delivered. According to the Department of Homeland Security, for 10 consecutive months, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has reported 0 illegal aliens released at the border. I'm proud to have worked with the Trump administration to secure our southern border and uphold our immigration laws, and will keep fighting to advance strong policies that protect Missourians and keep America safe.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Today, the Cards, the Brewers.
Ameren Total Access 545. First pitch 640.
Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Burleson pops it up. It's on the third base side. Coming down the line, Rengifo on the grass. He has it, and this ball game has come to an end. The Brewers take game 1 of the 3-game series 5-1.
Series continues tonight with a 5:45 pregame show here on KMOX. First pitch at 6:40 from American Family Field. Cardinals and the first place Brewers, and you can hear the action on 104.1 FM. It's time to go to the Quiver River Electric guest line today. And we are joined now by analyst for Brewers TV. It is Vinny Rotino joining us on KMOX. Vinny, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thank you for being here. And so last year, I think it was May. It was about May, the end of May. I said, Brewers are done. This team, this is it. This is the year they stink. And boy, was I proven wrong again. And I made the declaration, Vinny, that I will never count out the Brewers ever again until the bell rings. Never again. What is it with this team?
I don't blame you with that approach, because it's, at the end of the day, it's the combination between Matt Arnold and Pat Murphy that it really is. Look, they've been good even before that, right, with David Stearns and Greg Counsell, but this is a different brand of baseball. They've been able to adjust in this landscape of, it's really expensive to find veteran starting pitching. It's really expensive to find good back-end relievers. It's really expensive to find power. So what do the Brewers do? They adjust. They approach this thing with a young staff with the best pitching coach in baseball. He really is, Chris Hook. You have Jim Henderson as well. They've promoted him because I'm sure he was called upon as well. Just because they do such a great job of developing their young starters, they find attributes from Matt Arnold finds attributes that he likes from young starters that he knows that Chris Hook, Jim Henderson can tweak, can adjust. Kyle Harrison's a perfect example of that. Jacob Mizorowski looked like a reliever in the minor leagues, couldn't find the strike zone, and then all of a sudden they got him locked in, throwing strikes, only one walk in the last two outings. This is a guy who's above average walk rate. And so they just up and down. They just do a phenomenal job of getting the most out of their guys. I mean, I could go on and on for days just about what they've been able to do. One of the best teams in baseball these last 3 years. Last year, that's best record in baseball. And they're doing it without an expensive roster. They're doing it on the margins. Pat Murphy just does a great job of getting the most out of his guys, but then also playing good team baseball. They don't make mistakes. This looks like the Brewers are playing baseball like the Cardinals used to play baseball when the Cardinals were giving the Brewers fans nightmares, right? And that's just kind of what's been going on here in Milwaukee. It's been fun to watch.
That's exactly what I was going to say is the Brewers have stolen whatever devil magic the Cardinals used to have. And was it the kind of thing where the organization was watching what the Cardinals were doing and trying to replicate it? Did they find their own way? What was it?
I think it's kind of a combination of both, probably. I mean, look, the Cardinals were again giving the Brewers and Brewers fans nightmares for decades, quite frankly, and just the way that they were playing, the way that they would find guys on the margins, and the Daniel Descalzos of the world, look like career minor leaguers, and all of a sudden, really contributing to the big league team. Giving guys like that a shot, giving guys like that an opportunity to develop at the big league level, that's kind of what, if you want to say copycat, that's what the Brewers – but I don't know if they necessarily say, okay, we're going to do it exactly like the Cardinals. They're finding their own way to do it. Pat Murphy was truly truly is a master at getting the most out of his guys. I know that sounds cliche, but it's a guy that, is a college coach, and he kind of approaches the big league game like a college coach. Still, he'll sit a guy if he overthrows the cutoff man. We saw that with Sal Frelick last year. We saw, if a guy doesn't run the base, he is the guy that's going to directly communicate with the player. You don't see that. Everything's kind of siloed in other organizations. I played for a long time, played for 14 years. A lot of time in the minor leagues, but that's kind of watching different organizations operate. That's how they operated. They would silo things. The manager would tell the coach, the base running coach, to go ahead and tell the player. And then Pat Murphy just doesn't do it that way. He directly approaches the player. Hey, look, we need you to go from second to third on that play, and this is why. And I think players respect that. I think he's such an open communicator that nothing is left to kind of guess for players, and they respect it. And that's why he gets the most. That's just one aspect of why he gets the most out of his guys. And again, it's kind of unique. You're not really seeing this in other organizations around the league.
What would be another one of those reasons why he's getting so much out of his guys? We talk a lot about how Ollie Marmol here in St. Louis, the way he manages, really resonates with this young crew, right? This average age of 26 on this team. What are other ways that it's working in Milwaukee?
Yeah, and I actually think, so to your point, I think what you're saying is kind of what the Brewers' approach is, that they have young players in St. Louis. And so I think that's why Ollie this year, and just kind of watching and observing from a distance, I think that's why Ollie this year is getting the most out of his players. I don't know if you could have said that from him or about him in years past. I think he's still trying to find his footing. And again, correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's still trying to find his footing as a manager. I think he's got a bright future as a manager because it seems like he's got good feel. But it matters who is on your roster. And this is what Pat Murphy talks about all the time. So if it's a selfish player that doesn't want to play team baseball, Pat Murphy is going to advocate to get rid of that guy. And that guy's not going to be around for long. Now, it doesn't happen very often because Matt Arnold does a great job of knowing that that's what Pat Murphy wants and needs on his roster. And so Pat Murphy talks about all the time about having young, hungry players that are holding on to the big leagues by their fingernails. And I love that image because it was me as a player. And to have those guys, and I didn't hold on very long, quite frankly. So to have those guys and you have a bunch of them, who's going to stick? Who's going to play this brand of Brewers baseball? And you just see that up and down. And it's the guys that, look, quite frankly, not everyone's going to stick. And so they go ahead and, if he's not able to kind of cut it at the big league level, they go ahead and they've got like 5 of that particular player, and one of them's going to stick. That's kind of the approach. And that's, and Murph, again, he gets the most out of those guys because they want it so bad. And they know if they play this brand of team baseball, usually for players, they will play their best brand of baseball individually if they're playing that team brand of baseball, which, again, you guys saw for years and years and years, and you're seeing that again this year.
Brewers TV analyst Vinny Rotino is with us on KMOX. You're talking about Pat Murphy, the current manager of the Brewers, and Craig Counsell was there a couple of years ago, and I think upset a lot of people when he decided to leave and go to the Cubs, and he's making a considerable amount of money to do it. But really, the Brewers have not. There hasn't been a drop off in performance. They move on from a guy who was considered a very good manager. They've got a new person who's there, and it hasn't really changed much with how much the Brewers win. Is it just because of the team's infrastructure? Is that why they're able to continue doing this?
Yes, I think they have a pipeline of players coming. They have the Brewers have scouts and the amateur side of things, the pro side of things, but then also on the international side of things, you're seeing guys like Jesus Madej being the number 1 prospect in baseball. You're seeing Jackson Chourio being signed just a handful of years ago out of Venezuela. So you're seeing kind of an advantage, it seems like. And I know some of these guys after I got done playing with the scouts, so I kind of know who's got better scouts than other teams. And quite frankly, the Brewers have an international department that's probably heads and shoulders, maybe on par with the Dodgers in terms of who they're able to acquire an international market. They just got some really good talent evaluators down there. And so they're getting guys like Jesus Madej, number one prospect in baseball. Luis Pena is number 20 in baseball. And then it's the fact that they're not afraid, and Matt Arnold, he's not afraid to kind of run this thing like he helped run the thing with the Tampa Bay Rays, right? So he's coming over from the Tampa Bay Rays, and that's exactly what they did. They flipped guys as soon as their contracts were expiring. They flipped guys when they thought they were at their ceiling, and so when their value was highest, and then they were able to flip them for prospects they really like. And like I said, not every prospect's going to work out, but they're going to throw them against the wall and see which one sticks and turns into a potential superstar or a potential all-star or just an everyday big leaguer. And that's kind of how they've been able to kind of have this roster churn and have success doing it. And you're right, Craig Counsell was a great manager. I just think Murphy's better, quite frankly. And, you know, Craig Counsell had the benefit of having a great starting staff when he was with the Brewers. Remember Corbin Burns, Brandon Woodruff, Freddie Peralta, and Eric Lauer at his peak, throwing the ball really well. So I'm not sure, and I don't want to say this in any kind of disparaging way to Counts, because I think he's a great manager. I really do think he's a great manager. It's actually a friend of mine. I don't know if Counts would be able to get his roster playing the way that Pat Murphy's getting the roster to play. Because a different roster, but a much younger roster, more unproven players at the big league level. I'm sure he'd do fine. But it's that combination between Murph and Matt Arnold finding the right guys.
So this division, what do you make of it? Because the Brewers are 2.5 games in front of the Cardinals. Cubs are in third, Reds, and then the Pirates. And even the last place team is over 500, and it's been this way for several weeks. So as you look at the National League Central, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, tough. It's a gauntlet all year. I think the NL Central teams are going to be beating up on each other all year. Now, it's easy to say that the Brewers look better than the rest of the league after watching the Brewers sweep the Cubs, who are on a 9-game losing streak as we speak, which is kind of crazy, after 2 10-game winning streaks so far this season. And then watching the Brewers, kind of beat up on the Cardinals yesterday. Now, it's easy to say that the Brewers look like the class of the division after yesterday's game with the second-place Cardinals. But look, Jacob Mizorowski is an absolute, phenom. I don't think I've ever seen anything like what he is doing. I haven't. It's just in terms of the velocity, and now all of a sudden he's in the zone all the time. So it's easy to say that. Now, we'll get a better view of how these teams match up, I think, these next 2 games, right, with Kyle Harrison on the mound today, and then it would be not sure. It's to be determined who's going to pitch that game 3. So we're going to get a sense of this is a really competitive division. I think it's going to be Brewers-Cardinals, quite frankly. I think the Cardinals do have some potential holes in their depth for starting pitching. Only using 6 total guys so far. What is it? 51 starts covered by 5 guys. One start is made by Hunter Dobbins, right? So yeah, I think you're going to find some holes maybe in their depth of their starting staff. So, but with Walker swinging the bat the way that he is, I think the Cardinals are going to be a force to be reckoned with, especially the way that they can play defense. And we'll see if Chaim Bloom, and again, talk about another Rays guy, right? Mm-hmm. These guys with the Rays know what they're doing and how to build a roster with young players. And so with Chaim Bloom, we'll see what he does at the trade deadline to see if they can replenish. But I think it's going to be kind of a dogfight between Brewers, Cardinals, and I don't count out the Pirates, especially with their starting staff. And then Connor Griffin's kind of coming on like gangbusters. I know Ryan O'Hearn got hurt, so that's a detriment to them. But this is going to be a fun division all year long. The Reds will figure it out, especially with Tito Francona at the helm managing those guys. But it'll be a dogfight. It's easy to say that the Brewers look like the class right now. We'll see what happens. They look tough. However, the whole division does look tough, guys.
Vinny Rotino, Brewers TV analyst. We appreciate your time. Thank you, and enjoy the ball tonight.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Thanks.
That is Vinny Rotino with us. 6:40 is the first pitch this evening. 5:45 is our pregame show, and we'll bring that to you on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app.
Just talking about the Central Division, to put a bow on it, as Tom Ackerman pointed out this morning, the Cardinals, with their record right now, 29-23, they would be 4th in the American League.
29 and 20. Yeah, that's right. So
4th.
Yeah. It's interesting how the designated hitter coming to the National League has evened things out a bit.
Yeah.
Because it,
Do you
used to
think
be that was a stronger league.
Do you think that's a big reason for it rather than just the natural cyclical nature of, teams being good and falling
It's
back?
part of it.
Yeah.
It's everything. You have the teams that are willing to invest a lot of money, and when they're willing to do that, that's your starting point. Beyond that, it's other factors like the AL for years did not have pitchers hitting. So the league was stronger. Just it didn't mean it was going to win the World Series every year. Just was a stronger league with better teams. And I think what's happening in the Central is really fascinating because it is still the only division. We're getting to the end of May.
Yeah.
And rarely do you get to the end of this month and still have a division where every team is over 500. It just doesn't.
And I think
it doesn't happen like this.
I think the Cardinals are the only team not over 500 at home because they're even right now.
Yeah, they're even at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're 13 and 13 at home. So it's remarkable how they've played away from home because usually it's when you're putting together a good season, what you try to do is be over 500 at home, dominate your games at home, and try to be around 500 when you're on the road. And they're doing it sort of the opposite. Yep, only 2 months in. There's still a lot of baseball to be played, but it's very fascinating how things have shaken out so far. That is Vinny. We appreciate his time today. And again, pregame show on KMOX starting at 5:45. Redbird Rush Hour at 5. And guess what's happening prior to that? At 12, Amy?
Ollie Marmol.
That's right, Cardinals
it's Ollie
manager.
Tuesday, baby.
It is Ollie Tuesday. Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol on the Gas House Gang at 12 on 104.1 FM KMOX. And the NBA playoffs are ongoing. They've been a lot of fun to watch so far. And one series has already been decided. That's the Knicks. They are off to the NBA Finals. They swept the Cavs. And now you've got Oklahoma City and the Spurs tonight. Game 5, and the series is tied at 2. And you are going to want to check in with FanDuel every day during the NBA playoffs because there are better payouts with same-game parlays during the playoffs. So more ways to build value every time you play by stacking picks for every game, every matchup, every moment. There are spreads you can go with, player points, assists, threes. Just take your pick and build it all into one same-game parlay and go for even bigger payouts. So if you are betting same-game parlays during the NBA playoffs, one place to do it, that's FanDuel. More options, better payouts, all NBA playoffs long. FanDuel.com/Missouri to get started. FanDuel.com/Missouri. FanDuel is an official partner of the NBA. Play your game. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Pool days call for cookouts and lots of laundry. This Memorial Day at Lowe's, save $80 on a Charbroil Performance Series 4-burner gas grill. Now just $199. Plus, get up to 45% off select major appliances to keep dishes, clothes, and food fresh. Having fun in the sun is easy with us in your corner. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 5/27. While supplies last. Selection varies by location. See associate or Lowe's.com for details.
If you're struggling to hear conversations, TV, or the people you love, now there's an easier, more affordable solution without spending thousands. Audien Hearing makes high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98 with free shipping and dedicated one-on-one support in the comfort of your own home. No doctor's offices, no pressure. Clearer hearing delivered right to your door. Join over 1 million happy customers hearing life more clearly. Visit AudienHearing.com. That's AUDIEN Hearing.com.
Tarps Off Media is sweeping Cardinals Nation. But before you take your shirt off, make sure it's a shirt worth taking off. Friday before Cards and Cubs at Busch, the DGS broadcasts live from patios starting at 3 p.m., counting down to first pitch. And Rally House will be on site with gear so good, it might actually want to keep your shirt on. It's your city. It's your house. It's Rally House with DGS live from Patios, Friday, May 29th.
You've put in the work to get that first job, moved up the ranks, or started a family. Now it's time to take your success to the next level. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we're here to help you keep that momentum going with educational programs built around real-world, in-demand career skills. We'll teach you how to apply emerging technologies like AI and data science, plus timeless skills like leadership, communication, critical thinking, and more. Affordable, accredited, and online. A UMGC education fits your life, so you can keep growing while you keep going. You've succeeded before. Now succeed again. At UMGC, we believe nothing should stand in the way of your next achievement. Not doubt, not your life stage, and especially not an application fee. Just apply by June 1st, and we'll waive your application fee. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Hey, Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. It's sports betting, the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circusports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circus Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Meet me at the Muni in Forest Park.
Muni tickets for 2026 are on sale now, featuring Hairspray, Shrek the Musical, South Pacific, Disney's Newsies, Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Times of the Temptations, Meet Me in St. Louis, and Something Rotten. Choose your seats now at muni.org.
Meet me at the Muni in Forest Park.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here for FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of KMOX. And I do like to brag that it's been my official sportsbook longer than for the station. The station only goes back to the beginning of this year, and I go back, I don't know, at least 7 or 8 years, but I had to travel before to use it, and now I get to play at home. And right now, I'm playing along at home with the NBA playoffs because FanDuel is giving me better payouts on same-game parlays. You get the same benefit. So more ways to build and more value every time you play. You can stack your picks your way for every single game, every matchup, and every moment, whether it's spreads, player points, threes, whatever. You can build it all into one same-game parlay and go for the bigger payout. So if you're getting same-game parlays in your line to go, then this NBA postseason, you want to be doing that on FanDuel. It's more options, better payouts, all NBA playoffs long. Just go to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get yourself started. And remember, FanDuel is an official partner of the NBA. Play your game. Also remember that you have to be 21 or older and present in Missouri. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
So Tarps Off is happening all over the country. And if you were paying attention last night in Milwaukee, where the Cardinals are playing currently, there were some young men up there taking part in the Tarps Off movement. And it looked like security was trying to stop them. I don't know the whole story, and we need to get to the bottom of it, but it's so lame.
Like, we don't know, like, maybe they were drunk and, like, yelling. It's hard to tell what's going on. I don't know that you can have security tell people to put their shirts back on.
I guess you could tell them. Can't make them, can you?
I don't know.
I don't know what they're doing up in Milwaukee, but I heard that was supposed to be a fun place. You know,
nothing but great things.
Let the boys have fun. Our guy, Bob Costas, he's a friend of the show. He's a friend of the station. You may have heard of Bob Costas. And on Sunday night, NBC Sports, he had this to say about the Tarps Off movement.
Baseball. A game of timeless traditions. And now, apparently, shirts are optional.
The Tarps Off crew is ready.
What started in St. Louis.
It's pretty damn cool.
Look at that groove. Has become a movement.
We're having fun no matter what.
The newest twist in fan participation. So, get your popcorn ready. And if you feel like it, take your shirt off, too. For this week in baseball.
There you go. Take your shirt off. Take your shirt off all you want if you're at American Family Field watching the Cardinals tonight. Go ahead,
I think
take
we
your shirt
need
off.
the tarps off crew. Like I said last week, maybe just infiltrate other aspects of society, like county council meeting.
Take your shirt off, too.
Yeah. Board of Aldermen.
Take your shirt off, too.
11 o'clock in 4 minutes. Maybe the tarps off crew will be there when they're discussing the Rams money. You could have the tarps off crew anywhere, really. Probably not. If there's a sign, you know, they got to keep your shirt on.
You think there's a decorum rule against taking off your shirt at a city council meeting?
I do, because one time I was supporting someone in court, and there was another gentleman who was wearing a suit, and he had a hat on, and the judge would not allow the proceedings to continue until that gentleman
character witness?
took his hat off.
What are you talking about?
Listen.
Supporting someone in court?
I was there to watch and be like, look at all these people who showed up to support this guy. And I said, yep, that's me.
Take your shirt off, too.
Artificial intelligence is invading all of our lives like nipples in right field.
Oh my
Just it's all in our faces. And it's also infiltrating sports as well. Author of the new book, The Business of Sports Technology, David Nugent, will tell us all about it when we come back on KMOX.
All eyes will be on Mizzou men's basketball this year, with one of the nation's top recruiting classes coming to the Zoo. You don't want to be watching from the couch while Mizzou Arena is rocking, so grab your black and gold and experience it. Go to MUTigers.com/MBBTIX to get your name on the season ticket request list for next season. Don't wait. Visit MUTigers.com/MBBTIX today. MIZ.
You care about every detail, and so does Purina. Every ingredient in their pet food comes from trusted sources, and every ingredient has a purpose. Whether that purpose is to provide just the right nutrients your pet needs or a flavor they will love, Purina has over 250 recipes made without artificial flavors or preservatives for you to choose from. You're sure to find something both you and your pet will love. Learn more at Purina.com.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
At 11 o'clock, we have mostly cloudy skies, 75 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch. The inflationary effects of the U.S.-Iran conflict aren't lost on American consumers. ABC's Jim Ryan has the latest.
The Conference Board's index is benchmarked to a 1985 score of 100. Right now, consumer confidence clocks in at 93.1, which is lower than the April number, but better than economists were expecting. Analysts at the Conference Board say the low reading on current conditions is tempered by consumers' expectations that things will be better 6 months from now.
Global health officials say the Ebola outbreak is moving faster than they can contain it. Countries, including the United States, imposing new restrictions on who can come in and where they can arrive. Details from ABC's Faith Abube outside the CDC in Atlanta.
Americans who are coming in from affected areas can only enter this country through airports here in Atlanta, in Dulles, in Virginia, and also starting today, Bush Airport in Houston. And they're required to undergo enhanced screenings, including temperature checks. Meanwhile, if you're a non-citizen, you're banned from coming into this country at all if you've been into those impacted areas in the last 3 weeks.
St. Louis Public Schools and a local nonprofit still looking for hundreds of students who went missing from city classrooms after last year's tornado. Miranda Walker-Jones, CEO of the Little Bit Foundation, tells KMOX some kids may have moved or are being homeschooled.
You know, this is something that is probably a long time coming. We wish it had happened sooner, but as the year went by and we noticed that these children didn't pop up in other districts, we said, hey, this is an urgent call for us to make sure that that every kid is accounted for.
Jones says the effort is a partnership with the St. Louis Education Fund and the St. Louis Community Foundation's Rapid Response Team. 2 people charged after Sunday's street takeover. It happened Sunday evening at the intersection of North 9th and Branch Streets. 2 of the drivers, 32-year-old Emmanuel Wilson and 20-year-old Mackenzie Davis, arrested and charged with stunt driving in connection with the takeover. Davis also charged with second-degree endangering the welfare of a child as her 3-year-old was in the back seat of her car during that takeover. They've both been issued summons to appear in court next month. From the KMOX Business Desk, a measure to cap the cost of prescription drug prices gaining traction in Illinois.
Lawmakers have debated the issue of prescription drug affordability for years, but no bill has made it out of a committee. That changed last Thursday when House lawmakers voted 62 to 39 to pass a bill that would allow an independent board to set the maximum price that a drug can be sold for in Illinois. The board would contain both the governor and appointed state lawmakers. However, there's only 1 month left of the state's legislative session. And with strong Republican opposition and no position taken by Governor J.B. Pritzker, the bill still has a long way to go. Jade Aubrey, KMOX News.
Let's check the forecast. Weather sponsored by Financial and Tax Strategies.
This afternoon will be mostly cloudy and rather humid with a stray late-day shower, high 78. Tonight, mostly cloudy, humid with a shower or thunderstorm in the area, low 67. Intervals of clouds and sunshine, warm but humid tomorrow. Nothing more than a thunderstorm in spots, the high 84. Clouds and some sunshine and warm Thursday. Again, there could be an afternoon thunderstorm, high 86. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Partly sunny skies, 76 in Florissant, 78 in St. Peters, and we're seeing a little bit of sunshine downtown, 75 degrees. I'm Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
If your retirement plan is mostly what if and a little fingers crossed, you deserve better answers than that. Check out Wealth and Wisdom Saturdays at 7 a.m. here on KMOX. I'm Gary Goldberg. Call 800-966-1690.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Chris and Amy on KMOX until 12 o'clock. Then Oliver Marmol will be on the Gas House Gang with Bernie, Tom, and me. We'll talk to the Cardinals manager like we do every Tuesday, just after 12. And we know you're going to stick around for that. They play the Brewers tonight. We are expecting a conversation with David Nugent, who's the author of the new book, The Business of Sports Technology. And it's about how artificial intelligence and emerging technologies are infiltrating sports, whether or not it is a good thing. And we'll talk to him about that. Apparently AI is not helping him connect, but we're gonna talk to him at some point here soon. Maybe
we don't know.
We expect to have a conversation soon. Amy, I got something in the meantime to bring to you. You were out yesterday enjoying the holiday.
And happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday.
It was my dad's birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday, Dave. Let me tell you about this.
Okay.
So this happened this month, and I didn't hear about it until Michael Calhoun brought it up in the news.
Oh, no.
Yes, it's not bad.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's not bad. But there was a study done of 3,000 drivers. A survey of 3,000 drivers in the country. And they found the most passive-aggressive roads in the country.
Oh, in the country.
Yes.
Okay.
And so the 3 most passive-aggressive roads in the country are Ventura Boulevard in L.A., U.S. Highway 1, Federal Highway in Fort Lauderdale, and Central Avenue in Westchester, New York. Okay?
Okay. I have a question, but I don't know if you want to keep going. My question is, what defines a passive-aggressive road?
We're not talking about full-blown road rage.
Okay.
They are looking for slower burning, arguably more exhausting drivers who refuse to let you merge, close the gap. When you signal, block intersections, stuff like this, passive-aggressive stuff.
Okay.
There's actually a separate road rage one, and Missouri came in 14th of the worst road rage states in the country. Illinois was 29th. And we're talking like incidents,
shooting someone?
Yes, incidents where a gun is involved and
get out
stuff
and
like
fight.
that.
Yep.
So 14 out of 50 states. That's the completely separate. That's road rage.
Okay.
But this is passive aggressive. So in Missouri, there are 3 roads that make this list. Can you guess what the first Missouri road is, which is number 16 overall in the country for the most passive aggressive roads?
Because I feel like straight up aggressive would be 70, road rage. You always hear of incidents on 70, Highway 70. So I'm going to put 70 in highway, just road rage. Passive aggressive roads, thoroughfares. Well, I don't think it's Manchester because I think Manchester's too long, but I'll throw Manchester out there.
It is Manchester Road.
Yep, okay.
West County Corridor.
Yep.
In St. Louis County. And here's what they say.
Yes, I believe it. It's the worst. That's why I said it's like the 9th circle of hell. Manchester's the worst.
What it says. Manchester Road has the classic St. Louis County blend of errands, commuters, strip malls, side streets, and drivers who know exactly where they are going but do not want to help anyone else get there. The passive aggression shows up in tiny, familiar ways. Blocking a plaza exit, closing the gap when someone signals, inching into an intersection, or making a turning driver wait through another light out of sheer lane loyalty. It is not the wildest road in Missouri. It is something more everyday and more believable.
So,
a long suburban corridor where courtesy gets rationed one car length at a time.
So true. And that's why when I had the hesitation, I said, I don't know if it's Manchester because it's too long. Because I was thinking of, Manchester goes all the way, well, it turns into Highway 100 out in Franklin County, but it goes all the way from Wildwood, Ellisville, Baldwin, all the way into the city. And I was like, well, Manchester has to be the worst road, but if it's such a long road, does that somehow dilute the passive aggressive sections? But no, because they specifically cordoned off in their study or their results, the West County section, which is 100% true, which is what I was thinking of. And I believe it because it is the 9th circle of hell.
Also making the list, Glenstone Avenue in Springfield, which I'm not familiar with.
I don't know that one.
And Warnall Road in Kansas City. So any of our Kansas City listeners know what this one is?
I believe it's so true. Oh, my gosh. Guys.
But this part of Manchester Road specifically is the most passive-aggressive road in Missouri.
I believe it. And our West County listeners are people who frequent specifically Manchester and Barrett Station Road or Manchester and Mason. 2 things about this area. One, they put in a new dirty soda shop called Swig. Swig is right at Manchester and Mason, and it has somehow messed up the entire area where if you don't get out of the Swig lane fast enough because it backs up Mason down to Manchester, you might be stuck for a half an hour in one spot on Manchester Road, and then people start dive bombing, and people are blowing by you on one side, and you can't get out. I had a friend who was stuck and was like texting me, oh my gosh, what's going on? It's the dirty soda place. And also, I love road work, love that it improves our streets, but if you are driving eastbound on Manchester to Barrett Station, and they have lane shifts. They created the lane shifts at 45-degree angles, which no car can do. Like, it is like if you made the lane shifts using matchsticks and you went, like zigzag 45-degree angles. So it's impossible for your car to stay in the lane. As one of my friends put it, it's like, obviously, someone made those lane shifts who's never driven a car before. I've never seen a lane shift at a 45-degree angle. It's unbelievable.
And how far out is this?
Barrett Station Road in Manchester.
Okay.
But close to Swig Coffee. But the only reason I bring it up, because I know it's a little niche, although a lot of people are driving east on Manchester up to 270.
Yeah.
We were talking about Manchester Road being passive aggressive. Now imagine Swig Coffee or Swig Soda there, Swig Soda, and the 45-degree angle lane shifts. You have to drive it. It's unbelievable. I laugh every time I drive it because you just go on a straight line over it because it's a 45-degree angle. That's not how cars work.
It's kind of like the intersection at Forest Park and Kings Highway, right by the hospital. It has one of those. And when it's raining, the rain covers up the lines at night, and you can't see it. So people just drive straight through, which is pretty dangerous right there. I can't believe there aren't more accidents.
We have a texter, and I just realized, what's Mid-County? It says Manchester is a long road, which means if the West County corridor is on there, it's West County people that are the problem, not Manchester. Signed a regular Mid-County Manchester driver. We don't have those problems here. But wouldn't 270 in Manchester be Mid-County?
No, that's West County.
What's Mid-County?
Probably more 170? Yeah, because
Manchester
270 is out there, man.
But Manchester doesn't hit 170.
What?
Manchester doesn't hit 170.
Like that even. I'm saying, like, if you draw a straight line down from 170 to where Manchester would be, probably about there.
And then does it become city, like at Kings Highway?
I'd say McKnight-ish. That's probably Mid-County.
Mid-County, yeah. Manchester, McKnight. So
Lindbergh,
like Rock Hill.
Lindbergh, yeah.
Rock Hill. And then it turns into city when you get to Tower Grove. The Grove. Maplewood, the Grove.
Well, I think I don't know. Maybe
we need to figure this out.
Maybe McCausland. Isn't that probably about where the city starts?
I think so.
Yeah.
So then Maplewood be county still. We do have a texter says, I don't know about passive aggressiveness, but Manchester at Swig is an absolute mess right now. However, the drinks are great. I like how it's now a road, Manchester and Swig.
I don't even know what this Swig is.
It's dirty soda.
Okay.
And what I don't understand. Okay, now it's getting personal. Now I'm getting upset. George is getting upset. I don't understand people who sit in drive-thrus for 35 or 45 minutes. Blows my mind. Starbucks drive-thrus. There's a Starbucks drive-thru in Wildwood, and people will sit there for 45 minutes. I can walk in. Yes, I can order ahead and walk immediately out. Or I can walk in and order, and they get my drink done more quickly. So this Swig soda, it's dirty soda. Every farmer's market for the past 2 or 3 years has had dirty soda. I don't know why everyone has to go to this one tiny location, the Swig location.
Well, if you're talking about drive-thrus, you expect that when you make your order, it's going to happen pretty quickly after that. But for whatever reason, in the last 4 or 5 years, drive-thrus have become
nightmares.
Unbearable.
Hey,
there is no such thing as fast anything anymore. It's wild. I'm not sure why it's like that.
I know Swig. Someone said Swig dirty soda is not a coffee house. I know. I said Swig coffee out of habit. It's dirty soda, which I said a bunch of times.
There's another street on this list in Chicago called North Avenue. I don't know if anybody. North is a pretty. It's an east-west, pretty big road, and I used to live off it. And I am telling you, that's hell. It is hell. So if you ever go there, avoid North Avenue.
So I will say this, that we have an update from a 636. They actually closed the entrance on Mason because they were doing exactly what you said. They would sit there for a half an hour. What a disaster. Now the only place you can enter is on Manchester Road, which is another disaster. But yeah, they would sit there for a half an hour on a road. Can you imagine you're just driving down the road and you inadvertently get stuck in a drive-through line for Swig soda?
That would be the worst.
Can you imagine sitting in line for 35 minutes for a soda?
Because once you place your order for anything, you expect a reasonable, end time. And sometimes it's absurd. Chris and Amy on KMOX. We hope to connect with David Nugent at some point here. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. He was the author of the book about artificial intelligence and sports. Andrew Egger will be joining the show at 11:30 today, the White House correspondent for The Bulwark. A lot to get into with him as well, as there always is every Tuesday on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Homeowners, a lot of you are worried about one thing when it comes to selling, and that's leaving money on the table. This is Debbie Monterey. I'm with Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria, how do you help sellers make sure they're getting top dollar?
The reality is, most homes don't sell for what they should. I see it happen all the time. They either price it wrong or they don't create enough demand. But with over 2,400 buyers in my buyers in waiting database and my exclusive pricing strategy, I'm able to offer my seller a 100% market value guarantee. And if I can't get you 100% of your home's market value, I'll pay you the difference. So you don't have to wonder if you left money on the table. You can sell with confidence, knowing you maximize your sale.
Make sure you get every dollar for your home. Call St. Louis's real estate expert, Gloria Liu, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Spring cleaning isn't just for your house, it's for your life. If your job is getting old, it's time to clear the clutter and spring into IT. Go to My Computer Career.
My Computer Career helped me get the skills and certifications I needed to start a new life as an IT professional in months, not years.
Earn the certifications the top employers are looking for right now. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation to see if it's time to spring into IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Because we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see lots of lawyers' ads. Most seem to be bragging on results, but are they true or misleading? For example, in some cases, a firm may try a case even though the at-fault party has no lawyer, then brag in the ad about their results. My son Matt got one for nearly $50 million, but we never collected one dime. Some lawyers may say they got a result even though they were sitting second chair at a firm like mine, and even though they had little to do with it. Happens all the time. All that glitters is not gold. At Morgan & Morgan, our results are real. Visit forthepeople.com and go to Settlements and Verdicts to see for yourself what your case may be worth before you hire a law firm. Do your homework. Fact check. It's easy and too important not to. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
Lunch was great, but this traffic is awful.
Can we stop at a bathroom?
Are you all right?
I keep having stomach issues after eating, like diarrhea, gas and bloating, abdominal pain, and sometimes oily stools.
Sound familiar? Those stomach issues may actually be a pancreas issue called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. Creon pancrelipase may help manage EPI. Creon is a prescription medicine used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. Call 800-633-9110 or visit creoninfo.com to learn more. That's CREONinfo.com.
I'm asking my doctor about EPI and if Creon could help.
One city, one voice. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Chris and Amy on KMOX. We were just talking about how awful Manchester Road is. And a message says, I'm familiar with Mason and Manchester, the Swig soda place, the lane shifts, etc. I've not found any of that to be particularly difficult to drive through. Maybe I'm not in enough of a hurry.
I mean,
and yeah, you're not. And that's the problem, is that we need some of you to be in a bigger hurry.
If you can afford to sit in a Swig soda line for half an hour, because this is another texter who said, yeah, it's not a coffee house. No, I know. That was a mistake. We go by there every day because we have a place on Manchester Lane that we turn into. It is a friggin' disaster. That's a shame. Bob wants to know, what is a dirty soda? Bob, dirty soda is invented, in fact, by Mormons in Utah, where you take...
So that we know there's not booze involved.
Yes. So you can put like half and half coconut milk flavored syrups. And that is how you make a dirty soda. There was a place called Pretzel Time in Chesterfield Mall. Do you remember that? It was on the top level, and it was actually across from, they used to have a Chick-fil-A in Chesterfield Mall, and then got rid of it probably in the 90s. But it was above was it Hula Hands on the basement across from the pet store?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I thought you went to Chesterfield Mall.
I did, but I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, Pretzel Time, basically, they had dirty sodas in the late 80s and early 90s because I would go and, like, my mom said I was a little intense because I was like 5 or 6, and every time I went, I had to try a different flavor. So vanilla Coke, lemon Coke, orange Coke.
What do you mean the Mormons invented this? They've had these soda machines that you could push the button and it'll tell, and do you want Coke? Do you want vanilla in it? Do you want this? They've been at
it says,
all kinds of places for
dirty
years.
sodas were invented in Utah's Mormon community.
When?
Because they abstain from alcohol, coffee, and tea, they created sweet, highly customizable alternative with syrups, purees, and creamers. It says the concept was popularized in 2010, but the idea of putting syrup in soda is not new because, like I said, we did that at Pretzel Time.
Mm-hmm. I don't know pretzels. I didn't like pretzels, so I never went down that far.
Well, you could get pretzels, but it also obviously had sodas.
Chick-fil-A, because you said it used to have a Chick-fil-A, and that was gone.
It was across from Pretzel Time.
Chick-fil-A, so they used to hook you. They did it the exact same way that Panda Express did, where they would have somebody standing outside with a tray of orange chicken and say, would you like a sample?
So good.
They would do the same thing at Chick-fil-A. And they did it at the St. Clair Square I used to go to in Fairview Heights.
Okay.
That's how they hook you.
Now you're going to know where I'm talking about with Pretzel Time.
You give the kids a little taste. They come back for more. Like, I need more chicken.
And they also had, do you remember the coin-operated, looked like gumball machines, but they had toys?
Of course.
And you would twist it, and they had the little plastic balls, and inside was a sticky hand?
Yes.
We would get those sticky hands outside the Chick-fil-A across from Pretzel Time.
Yeah.
But I think you'll know. Remember the Pasta House in Chesterfield Mall?
Yes.
Pretzel Time was above Pasta House.
Okay.
And across from the pet store.
Okay. I love it.
I
miss that mall.
Radio for idiots.
Yeah.
So
not this.
No, this is good
That's
stuff.
That's down the dial.
But we have had a lot of people text in about that area of Manchester near Mason and Barrett Station Road.
The most passive-aggressive road in Missouri, according to a survey of 3,000 drivers.
Okay. You may have recognized Miles Davis at the beginning of this segment. It's Miles Davis. Would have been his 100th birthday. I forget more than I should. I forget Miles Davis is from St. Louis, born in East St. Louis. You know, when you walk down Del Mar and you see all the stars on the St. Louis Walk of Fame, even though we've all read the stars and we know at some point in our life who's from St. Louis,
well,
it's
born
actually
in Alton,
amazing.
Born in Alton and then lived in East St. Louis. Yeah.
But T.S. Eliot, my favorite poet, writer, he lived in St. Louis until he was 14, I believe. And then eventually he moved to England, and then he also renounced his American citizenship. And so that's why when you think of T.S. Eliot, you always associate him with England and the group of disaffected writers of that lost generation. But T.S. Eliot was so influenced by St. Louis. He said the Missouri and the Mississippi, they single-handedly influenced him more than any other aspect of his life. And some of his poems, like the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock, there was like Prufrock furniture down on the river. I don't know how it took me so long to either realize or know that T.S. Eliot was from St. Louis. I mean, I knew it eventually as an adult, but it wasn't like I was a kid and I knew he was from there.
You know, we talked about this yesterday, John Hancock and me, about how rich of a history there actually is in St. Louis. That, you know, a lot of that gets, I think, we don't get the credit for it because this city is, by the rest of the country, seen as sort of it's a flyover. Yeah, it's easy to ignore it, or if you're not ignoring it, you're making fun of it in some way. And there is such a big history here. We talked about Lewis and Clark yesterday, where, you know, the greatest real estate deal in history, the exploration of it started here. In St. Charles, technically, it started, but that began here. That expedition began here. And there's just so much rich history in this city that I don't even think we acknowledge it or celebrate it enough.
And
I know
the
rest of the country doesn't, but we don't even do it.
We don't do it enough, and we forget. And like Josephine Baker, and just like what an absolute star she was in Europe, right? And what a groundbreaker she was. And of course, we talk about Chuck Berry and all of that. T.S. Eliot, by the way, my fave. I think he lived here till he was 25. It was 1914 that he moved to England. But yeah, we should lean into this more. Music, so much that changed the trajectory of music forever started here in St. Louis.
When we come back, we will talk to the White House correspondent for The Bulwark, Andrew Egger, St. Louisan himself. He will join the show when we come back on KMOX.
All Access with Ollie Marmol on the Gas House Gang.
I show up every day looking forward to what's next for this group. This group fits my personality to a T. I love what we're doing. I love how we're going about it. I love the honest conversations. I love the grit. And there's been certain times where I've caught myself where bases are loaded, our back's up against the wall, and I can't help but smile. I show up every day looking forward to what's next for this group.
Ollie Marmol, Tuesdays at noon on KMOX.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I was throwing a party for the twins and had custom invites and a banner printed at Staples. And that's when I saw Party City is now at Staples.
Party City? No way!
Yep. So now Staples has all your printing needs and everything you need for a party.
Everything times 2.
Yeah, and now at Staples, save 40% on custom cards, photo gifts, wrapping paper, banners, and more.
Big news! Party City is now at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. In 613, exclusions apply.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
80 degrees, real feel, 95, because it's humid. Some sun today, turning cloudy, maybe a brief shower or two, a high of 80 tonight, cloudy and humid, with a thunderstorm in parts of the area, a low of 66. Weather sponsored by Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate today. Now offering 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Americans demanded border security, and House Republicans delivered. According to the Department of Homeland Security, for 10 consecutive months, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has reported 0 illegal aliens released at the border. I'm proud to have worked with the Trump administration to secure our southern border and uphold our immigration laws, and will keep fighting to advance strong policies that protect Missourians and keep America safe.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
The final home game of the season is here, St. Louis. Your St. Louis Battlehawks hit the field Friday, May 29th at 7 p.m. against the Dallas Renegades at the Dome at America Center. It's Battlehawk Kids Day, packed with family fun, Battlehawks energy, and an Archie bobblehead Give away while supplies last. Join Battlehawks Nation. Bring the whole crew and help close out the season the only way St. Louis knows how. Loud and proud. Caw. Because caw is the law. Get tickets starting at just $18 at UFLBattlehawks.com or Ticketmaster.
Mizzou football will be here before you know it. Join us for the 100th anniversary of Memorial Stadium with season tickets. Join the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist and get ready to lock in tickets for 2026. The home schedule is highlighted by games against Florida, Texas A&M, Texas, Kentucky, and Oklahoma. Don't wait to reserve your spot. Join the waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
Anheuser-Busch Brewery Experiences invites you to step up to the plate for an unforgettable happy hour at the Beer Garden on Thursday, May 28th. Join me, Tom Ackerman, and a panel of legendary Cardinals, including Ozzie Smith, Al Raboski, and Matt Adams for the Redbird Roundtable. Kick off baseball's big weekend with ice-cold beer and unforgettable fan experiences. Behind-the-scenes stories, legendary moments during a live panel discussion. See you at the Beer Garden May 28th, BudweiserTours.com.
Escape to Florence with the Tony Award-winning musical The Light in the Piazza at Opera Theater of St. Louis. This dazzling production stars Broadway favorites Kate Baldwin and Paulo Schott and brings to life an enchanting tale of romance, adventure, and self-discovery. Follow a young woman as she finds herself swept away by the beauty and passion of sun-drenched Italy. Performances run May 30th through June 28th, and tickets start at just $25. For tickets and information, visit experienceopera.org.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
Let's talk to our guy, Andrew Egger. He is the White House correspondent for the Bulwark, and he joins us on the Quiver River Electric guest line, and he's with us this morning. How's it going, Andrew?
Hey, guys, I'm doing well. Hope you enjoyed your weekend.
Well, I think we had no choice but to enjoy our weekends.
It was pretty nice. How was yours? Did you come home to St. Louis, or did you stay out in D.C.?
I'll be home in St. Louis next week, but I was out in very rainy D.C. Hung out with my in-laws. It was nice.
What is a Memorial Day like in Washington, D.C.?
That is a really interesting question. I guess I can't really speak to. I've never gone into town and done. I mean, I know there's stuff that happens around the city of DC proper. Usually, I'm with family. I drive further from DC to visit relatives in Maryland, or I'm back in St. Louis. So I wish I could give you a better answer to that question. But there is a lot of stuff that happens around the holiday, obviously.
All right. So I believe then, while you're in town, maybe not. I was going to say, if the Cardinals are in town, wouldn't it be great if you reported on Tarps Off for the Bulwark, joined the right field Tarps Off section and said, what is this, sweeping America?
I'll do it. I hope it's still sweeping America at that time. Sometimes these fads, they come and go, but I have every confidence we'll keep the Tarps Off going for a while yet. I would like to see it at least in person.
That'll be fun.
All right, so let's talk about what's happening now with the situation in Iran. And we keep hearing that they're close to a deal, and then it was reported a few days ago that, and multiple different people reported that the White House says a deal was 95% done, and the other 5% is reopening the Strait of Hormuz and like a bunch of other stuff. Like the 5% was doing a whole lot of work. So where do we stand right now?
Yeah, I mean, this is just the perennial problem here, because there's so many ways a deal like this can fall apart, right? I mean, it does still seem as though at bottom, we're at the point where President Trump wants to sign something and walk away. He's ready to be done with this conflict. He's ready to move on. And that does a lot all by itself, right? But the devil is in the details. It's all of these sticking points. It's how much operational control are we willing to cede to Iran permanently in terms of them controlling who goes in and out of the Strait of Hormuz. It's what level of uranium enrichment are we going to permit there? How long of a moratorium are we going to ask for there? What's going to happen with, all the uranium that's still buried underground at the sites that we struck last summer? There are an enormous number of sticking points here. To what extent are we going to give Iran sanctions relief and release frozen funds, much in the same way that Barack Obama did a decade ago, which ended up causing him so much political grief from a lot of people, including the president, right? So there are so many cross pressures here. There's so many different domestic concerns the president has to juggle. He's been telling Americans all along that the reason why they've been suffering, this increased economic pain in terms of the price of energy, in terms of the price of oil and gas, is because, we're going to get this big payoff in terms of a diplomatic win in Iran. And so, that's extra pressure on him to find some things he can point to as delivered wins. But it's just a difficult situation because we have found out sort of slowly over time that there is no more appetite from this administration, probably no appetite from the American people in general, to be honest, for a further military escalation in Iran, right? Nobody wants to see boots on the ground, but it also seems as though that is kind of what it would take in order to really twist these guys' arms and sort of make them come to terms that the U.S. would consider favorable. And in the absence of that, you're back to just sort of negotiated settlements, give a little to get a little, allowing Iran to walk away with a number of wins, allowing Iran to walk away probably in a more stable position in the region and a more powerful place in the region than they had been previously. And the question is just whether the White House is going to be content with that. It is looking like the answer right now is likely to be yes, although we have seen a pretty astonishing amount of pushback from some congressional Republicans here that obviously the president has in the back of his mind that he doesn't want to risk a revolt from that direction either. So it's a difficult situation, a lot of moving parts, a lot of places it could go wrong. That's where it sits right now.
Yeah, because even like the term regime change, truly effectuating regime change without boots on the ground just doesn't happen. And we know that the supreme leader of Iran was taken out, but then, his son has taken over. And it's kind of like, if something were to happen to the president and the vice president takes over, that's not a regime change. Like, a regime change goes much deeper than that. Is the current administration, the Trump administration, still using the term regime change as something they've either already accomplished or want to accomplish?
Yeah, you have not heard it nearly as much recently. And I think, look, I think there was a plausible case to make right at the beginning of this thing when Benjamin Netanyahu came to town and tried to pitch Trump on this attack. I don't think, we can sit here and say it was 100% unreasonable to say, look, here's the best strike we're going to get at these guys, golden opportunity. Let's take it and let's see if we can really force this regime into a new paradigm here. They took it. It has not played out that way. And I think that one thing that the White House could do if they chose to do it would say, look, we took our shot. We did what we could. We've gotten what we could. We did get some small military wins. We did knock out a lot of their military infrastructure. We took out some top leaders. But we just don't think the juice is worth the squeeze for continuing to prosecute this. And so we're going to pull up stakes. It's difficult, though, for President Trump, just kind of dispositionally, to make that kind of case, to say, we fell short of what it could have been in this way, that way, and the other way. And so you still see the president continuing to, at least in public, make these really maximalist proclamations where he's out there talking and tweeting as though, we're going to get some sort of like Middle East solving mega diplomatic accord where not only all of these other Arab nations sign the Abraham Accords to get along with Israel, but maybe even Iran will sign the Abraham Accords and become an ally of Israel now. Why not? It'd be amazing if that happened, right? That's kind of the way the president is talking about it. And meanwhile, behind the scenes, if you're looking at what they're doing rather than what they're saying, it seems much more like they're sort of inching away from any large settlement at all. And we are just going to sort of move to a status quo where Iran has not experienced regime change and in fact is empowered relative to other countries in the region because they will be exerting this operational control over the Strait of Hormuz in an unprecedented way.
So there is a cabinet meeting to happen at Camp David tomorrow with all of this going on. Tulsi Gabbard is expected to be there, even though she's now the outgoing director of national intelligence. What is supposed to happen tomorrow or likely to come out of it?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we're going to see that they are coming out of it all on the same page of some of this stuff, right? I mean, it's strange because there's all this negotiating, there's all this movement, there's all these like small stories about, you know, little changes here and there to the diplomacy, but the facts on the ground really haven't changed that much in really months at this point, right? I mean, you've had little ceasefires go on, you've had little ceasefires come off, you've had little flare-ups that violate various ceasefires, but the fact is basically the same driving this whole thing as we've had all along, which is that we have not been able to dislodge Iran's control of the Strait of Hormuz. We have therefore not been able to kind of pick the lock on this cascading series of energy shocks that we've seen throughout the world. And neither bombardment nor economic blockading seems to have starved Iran of the will to continue both to stick with that plan in the Strait and to sap their desire to hang on to, you know, certain parts of their enrichment. So I mean, we're going to see what we will see in terms of negotiation. Maybe there will be some kind of out of left field settlement that kind of takes us all by surprise, makes sort of doom and gloom prognosticators like me look sort of foolish about this. I would love for that to be the case personally, I'll tell you. But right now it does still seem like we're sort of rearranging a lot of deck chairs here without being able to get to the bottom of the problem that has been bedeviling everybody for months.
And then just kind of on that, any update on the self-defense strikes that the U.S. conducted earlier today?
Yeah, we haven't heard a whole lot. That's been, you know, we saw a little bit of this right after the first ceasefire was signed, and everybody was kind of like, what does it mean for us to have a ceasefire right now if everybody is still shooting at everybody else? At that point in time, it was sort of tamped back down. You know, we actually did get a little bit of a ceasefire. The U.S. has not been firing much at Iran, you know, as we have continued throughout these various ceasefire negotiations. Iran has said in kind of its ordinary saber-rattling way that the U.S. should expect retaliation for these strikes. And in fact, you know, spoken in really sort of a maximalist way about it, basically saying, you know, the United States should not have soldiers in bases that are within striking distance of us because you know, we're going to hit them. We'll see. We're going to find out whether that is sort of bluster or whether they will actually be you know, threatening, pushing us further into a shooting war here.
Andrew Egger, White House correspondent for The Bulwark, is with us, and the president again going to Walter Reed Hospital. And this is the second time in the last few months he's been there. The administration says it's routine, but a lot of people have noticed that he's kind of gone to the hospital a lot, you know, more than you would think, and wondering now if that means anything for his health. Is there something underlying that we don't know about? Is it a big nothing? What do we know about it?
Yeah, well, let me be the first to tell you, I have zero inside information about what might be going on here. It is true, you know, the rate of the president's trips, both to Walter Reed, and then he's been going to the dentist quite a bit recently too. A few trips already this year, unscheduled to the dentist. This is just sort of the stuff that you have to deal with as a president when you're quite old, right? I mean, this is the stuff that bedeviled Joe Biden all through his term. You know, even before, you know, it really all the wheels kind of fell off during that very memorable debate performance. There's no real way to put the toothpaste back in the tube once people start thinking about your age, wondering about your age, wondering whether you are up to the task, wondering whether you're up to the challenge, because you can go out there and you can perform well and you can give a speech and you can seem really with it and everything like that. But, you know, if the next day you're falling asleep in a cabinet meeting or you're taking more unscheduled trips to the doctor or things like that, it's almost like a ratchet in people's minds that only turns one way, because people know this about, you know, their own elderly relatives. Is like if people are starting to slip a little bit, maybe they are really on top of it one day and not so much the next. And this is just a political difficulty, especially for a guy like Trump, whose brand has always turned so much on his own personal command, on his own personal strength, his own kind of mano a mano ability to project sort of masculine power in negotiations. It's a thing that continues to dog him. At the same time, he continues to project a lot of that same stuff when he's out there, out and about. I don't think there's a lot of people for whom like the low energy type attack tends to apply in their minds to Trump. If anything, just the opposite. They want him to take it down a peg in terms of the sort of histrionic way that he talks and acts and threatens and blusters and all these sorts of things. But yes, it's an ongoing sort of political concern. We will see whether it continues to grow throughout his second term the way it did for Joe Biden.
Quick question here is as we wrap up. I heard that there's a little bit more pushback, an issue with the ballroom now. What's the latest with the ballroom?
Yeah, so this is the thing we've been seeing from the Senate, Senate Republicans a couple of times recently. Donald Trump has always exerted a really enormous amount of control, kind of an unprecedented amount of control over lawmakers in his own party because of the way that he wields the threat of primary challenges. And he's really effective almost always when he declares these primary challenges, and he's willing to do it for not gigantic slights, right? So if you cross him in a big way or in a small way sometimes, he may without warning sort of drop you like a sack of bricks and spin up some MAGA-blessed, Trump-endorsed challenger to come take your seat. However, we're through that now as far as the midterms is concerned. There aren't any more candidates getting into the race. These primaries are wrapping up. Trump is losing his sort of strongest immediate pain point weapon that he can throw at these guys. And at the same time, he's losing a lot of his political support, right? I mean, his approval is lower than it's ever been. All of these guys are starting to look forward to the general elections that they're going to need to survive. And in part because of all of that, we are seeing a lot more pushback from some of these senators now. Long wind up to what you just asked about. Trump had wanted $1 billion in essentially security improvements, Secret Service funding for the ballroom project that he is putting up at the site of the former East Wing, which was demolished last year by him in order to do this. It was originally pitched as $300 or $400 million in private funding, his money and donors' money, without any charge to the taxpayer. But in order to go from that project to what they have claimed is what's necessary to make it sort of safe and secure in terms of these improvements, they wanted to put $1 billion in the current reconciliation bill that the Senate's looking at. There was a stampede away from that. They just don't think they have the votes. There were some procedural reasons also why it was going to be hard to get that in there. So that's one way in which Senate Republicans have really crossed him. And the other is this anti-weaponization fund that the White House and the Justice Department have just stood up in order to set up payouts in total of as much as $1.776 billion to people they claim had the government weaponized against them, Trump allies who claimed the government was weaponized against them during Joe Biden's term. There's a lot of appetite to resist that in some way in the Republican Senate, to actually not just refuse to fund it or anything like that, because Senate doesn't have to do that. It's already funded. But to issue new legislation to block it, perhaps. There's been a lot of chatter even about going that far. The Senate's not in session right now. They'll be back in a week, and we'll see whether anything comes of that when they return, or whether they will have kind of cooled off a little and retreated back into their ordinary posture of just sort of letting Donald Trump do and be Donald Trump.
Thank you, Andrew. We will talk next week.
Thanks, guys.
Andrew Egger, White House correspondent of The Bulwark and co-author of the Morning Shots newsletter, which you can subscribe to, and you should do that. Andrew Egger with us every Tuesday on 104.1 FM KMOX. Oliver Marmol on the Gas House Gang at noon today.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, let's talk about refinancings, and let's just bottom line this. Everyone needs money at some point in their life.
You know what, Dave? There's so many different ways you can make money. Number one, go to a lower rate. If you're financed over the last 3 years, chances are you're paying a higher rate than what you can today. Refinance with the Bagel loan, no closing costs at all. That's number one. Number two, a lot of people are concerned not about the cash flow, but overall interest that you're paying. Go from a 30-year to a 20-year. The rates are lower on a 20-year versus a 30-year. Save hundreds of thousands of dollars. And third is the really easy way. You need cash. I need cash. Take cash out. Refinance now. Take the money you need. Keep the payment the same. It's easy. It's simple. All with no closing costs with that Bagel loan.
If you're looking to save money, get a little cash to your pocket, and do it with the right person, give Stewie a call or a text on his personal cell phone, 314-324-4440, or Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS 226715.
Cards and Cubs. The rivalry returns to Busch Stadium May 29th, and we are kicking off the weekend early. I'm Tom Ackerman. Join me for a Redbird Roundtable featuring Ozzie Smith, Al Raboski, and Matt Adams. Thursday, May 28th at the Beer Garden at Anheuser-Busch Brewery. We're talking ball, enjoying a cold beer, and celebrating one of baseball's best rivalries. The doors open at 4:30. The Redbird Roundtable, Thursday, May 28th, a free event. Must be 21 or older to attend. Full details at KMOX.com.
Get everything you need for the entire job delivered. From lumber to drywall, flooring, and fixtures, get it all delivered from the Home Depot. With same day, next day, or any day delivery. Staying on track and on time is crucial to your job. That's why it's our job to get you what you need when you need it. We deliver the supplies. You deliver the results. Brought to you by the Home Depot.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Chrysalis Biosciences in Sauget, Illinois is hiring for multiple roles. Join a fast-growing ethanol plant transforming renewable energy with competitive pay, benefits, and growth opportunities. Apply today and grow your career with Chrysalis at chrysalisbio.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire America's largest injury law firm for your case? There's lots of reasons. Just like there's a reason millions of people called us last year in their time of need. When it comes to fighting for justice and compensation, millions of people across the country trust us to go to battle for them. We became the largest injury law firm in the world for a reason. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Right now, inflation is squeezing budgets, and global events can shake up the markets overnight. If you're close to retirement, you don't get unlimited do-overs, so this is not the time to just hope it works out. That's why Steve Auld and the team at the All Financial Group are hosting an upcoming educational seminar called Retirement Simplified, June 16th at the All Financial Group office. You'll learn how rising costs could drain your spending power, how political and economic headlines may impact your returns, and whether your retirement strategy is truly stress-tested for today's economy. This event is complimentary, and you must reserve your seat today. 636-230-8824. You can also get more details online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, or registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions. The All Financial Group is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the U.S. government or any other government agency.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app.
Our question of the week on Twitter, and you've got to follow us there. You have got to follow us on Twitter. We are at Chris Amy KMOX, or if you call it X, whatever, something stupid. We're on it, and you have to go to it. And our question of the week is, what are your neuroses? Like, you must have one.
You got to pick and choose. None of us are neurosis-free.
Amy brings a spare pair of socks to wear at the airport when you have to take your shoes off at TSA, and then she throws those socks away after she gets through security.
Or bowling. Throw those bowling socks away.
Right. So what is yours?
Did I say this on the air? I can't remember. I do bring the little portable Clorox wipes and I did say that, and wipe down the airport or the airplane seat that I'm in. Texter says, my wife's neurosis is always cleaning the shopping carts before she touches it and goes shopping. I don't even think that's a neurosis because they provide the wipes at most stores now.
Yeah.
Right by the baskets and the carts, you'll have that little, container with all of the wipes. I think that is perfectly fine.
I will always use those if they are available.
Here's one that might be the winner for today.
Okay.
This on Twitter says, I brush my teeth twice with 2 different toothbrushes using 2 different kinds of toothpaste, flossing between brushing.
So hold on a second. So they brush their teeth with one toothpaste and one toothbrush.
And then a different toothpaste and
Spit, rinse,
Yep.
floss,
Yep.
and then use a different toothbrush with a different tube of toothpaste?
Yes. Now, here's the thing. I understand 2 toothpastes. Why? Well, because I have my normal toothpaste that I use, but sometimes I do like to use a whitening toothpaste. And if you use the whitening toothpaste every day, it can be a little harsh.
All right, that's fine. That's fine if that's what it is.
But I have one toothbrush.
But it sounds like he's using both. And what I'm also wondering is, does he have a weird thing with because your toothpaste, you touch the brush touches the toothpaste opening.
I think it's because one toothbrush is pre-floss and one is post-floss, because you might have some of that, moldy gunk stuck between your teeth that is now on your toothbrush.
Moldy gunk in between your teeth? What do you think happens up there?
That's how you get cavities. It's warm
not
in your
mold.
mouth and bacteria.
It isn't mold. I'm sorry, but that's really strange.
No, but don't shame him. We invited him to share his
but
neuroses.
I didn't say we weren't going to shame you for your neuroses.
I think it's understood.
No.
You can't invite the people to give their weird neuroses and then shame them for it. You're going to discourage participation.
You're damn right I can. But go ahead and participate. Text us, or you can on Twitter. Follow us and let us know what we're pinned right at the top there. You'll see it. Thank you for doing it. We'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. on this show. The Gas House Gang is next with Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol on 104.1 FM.
Take your shirt off, too. Summer may be the right time for a family saving.